Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show, bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio, here's Nick and Matt.
Oh, that intro is so wonderful. Even when Nick's not here, he gets the attention and the credit for being in the show. Ben, you're filling in for Nick tonight. He's traveling to Waco. How's it going?
I'm Evan, and I'm doing great.
Bevan Kearney. That's what I call him. Bevan Kearney. Ben's here, assistant producer. I don't know why. It's the name in my head. I have like dyslexia, and I'm kind of joking. But.
I've just been gone for so long, and Ben's been your only company that he's just taken over.
And then Nick's not. Yeah, it's all just a combination. So anyways, that's great. You're back. We're going to talk about that. You were there with your feet on the ground at LVC. We have a special guest in studio tonight. You want to throw that up, Ben? We have Steve Dodge, everybody. Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Hi, Mom.
Hey, you got a microphone. You can actually say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
So, Steve, you are here because we're going to talk about a lot of cool things, but we've actually twisted your arm. You're actually going to be here the full show, right?
And I think that I'm the reason that we're running late, and I'd like to apologize for that. But if I can jump right in, I've got our first listener poll. Okay? Is that okay? I brought the reason that we're starting late. I brought ice cream for everybody.
Throw this in YouTube, Ben.
I feel like everybody needs to vote on what their favorite ice cream is. And if one of you guys wants one of these, I brought us each a pint. Wow. It's a 2-hour show, right?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. So we got the Tonight Dough. Who wants Tonight Dough?
All right. I'll take the Tonight Dough.
Matt's getting the Tonight
Matt's
Dough.
with the Tonight.
Is anybody dairy free?
All the dairy.
Because I got dairy. We got mint chocolate.
That's got to be me, Ben.
All right.
You good with that?
Right. Yeah.
All right. That's the second one.
Do we have spoons?
I brought spoons. This is dairy-free cookie dough for anybody out there. It's going to sit here and melt. So there's nobody.
Okay.
Everybody loves dairy-free, right? All right. This is why we were late, people. Americone Dream is third. Ben, you like Americone Dream?
I'll try. I've never had it.
It's my favorite.
That's a good one.
Oh, then you have it.
That's right.
It's your favorite.
Oh, this is my other favorite. And then fish food. Which do you prefer?
I'll take fish food.
All right. I think you won out on that one.
The chat's saying it's a trap.
All right. And then here we go. Pass the spoons around.
The chat's saying Steve just won Nick's spot on the show.
So these all have to be empty by the end of the show.
Oh all right. Man. So
all right. Thank you all. I'm out.
I'm out. He's actually done. He just walks out. Epic. So he does have a microphone. We'll see if we can get him to remember when he talks to pick it up. But tonight's show, first of all, excellent intro. That's the best intro we've ever had, I think. I'm not going out. It's not a hot take. I think that's real. That makes me laugh, but it's real. So there's the chat's going wild, Steve. What an entrance. Okay. Vibram guy. Someone said, who the heck is that guy? Okay. We're going to get...
Ice cream man.
Ice cream man. We're going to get into some of these topics here. That was the introduction. We're a little behind, as Steve said. I don't blame it on him. We actually had a lot here that we were scrambling on the end to make work. We have special guests tonight coming in. New England Women's Disc Golf. We're giving them some love. New Disc Golf, NEWDG. Look them up on Instagram. We'll have them on. 3, I believe, FPO players, although we'll find that out. Definitely New England Women's Disc Golf players. So we're going to talk about that. Evan, so as you take a bite of ice cream, this is going to be fun tonight. You were at LVC. You were there. You walked for both FPO portions, I'm sure, and MPO. What was your favorite part about LVC?
Ooh,
that's
I didn't prepare this.
Question. Yeah, that's a
favorite part. I'll start with what I was like most surprised with is I think LVC gets a little bit of a bad rap for being a boring course. And I will say, being there on the ground, that is a beautiful property. Very cool. And there are a lot of cool holes, I think, just because there's so many that, sometimes they kind of blend together just because it's one tournament once every year and there's 54 holes, a lot to remember. But I really enjoyed it. And being on the ground, now they're really memorable to me. And ended up being really cool holes that I actually enjoyed watching and seeing multiple times play out. So I might go with that. I mean, it was also just great being there and seeing those both finishes in person was pretty awesome. Especially since we were trying to do stats all at the same time, and going into the final hole for Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen was like, already had it ready. I think they had
where were you standing when that hole played out? Which side? Tee pad or basket?
I think we were at the tee pad when they teed off, and then we ran up. Yeah, I think we ran past as they're going up, and then we like got out of bounds to the right where all the fans were, because we like just got the stat that if they went to a playoff, it would have been, I think, the 9th time, or they already had done it 9 times. I think they already had done it 9 times. This would have been the 10th playoff between the two and elite and majors. I forget the filters of it. It was wild, but had that already, and we're like, it's going to a playoff. And then unfortunately, Paige goes OB. Katrina wins it in stellar fashion, similar to Worlds, which is kind of crazy. And was still an amazing finish. Just was like, we had a cool thing. We were like crunching the numbers, like right in the live, flip going back and forth. And then the same thing happened with the on the men's side. We had all the cool stats for Gannon Buhr, like first cash to first elite win. And then just unfortunately goes OB. And then as soon as he goes OB, before it even finished, we're like, oh no, we got to look up playoff stuff. No, we got to look up stuff for Drew. And so I literally just we were just walking around with my laptop in a hotspot. So I just dropped down right there on the middle of the fairway 18, about where people would lay up as they're tapping out, just like already like trying to find stuff. It was like sunny. They like started throwing off before we even got stuff. We were like standing on the green at 3. So then we had to hop off the green at 3 when it got the second hole moved on. So it was really exciting doing all that stuff live, but it was a little bit hectic just being there on the grounds. But you got to see it as it happened. So it was cool.
I love that recap. And as you're doing that, and Steve happens to be on camera every now and then, the best part is Steve doesn't know when he's on camera because I forgot to turn that monitor on. Okay. So someone said, Steve, and your reaction to this would be excellent. They said, Steve reminds me, which first of all, reminds me, I don't think is the right tense for this, but Steve reminds me of a Nate Sexton in 10 years.
Nate Sexton, I apologize.
I just feel like that was hilarious. I don't know how it reminds him of that, but reminds is past tense, right? Am I incorrect? He reminds you of Nate Sexton in 10 years.
I think we all get what he's saying. And again, I apologize to Nate. That is, I think that's a benefit to me.
I have a good Nate Sexton on the ground story if we have time for it.
Let's do it.
So we were, what was that? That was round 3 when the cut line drama was happening. I don't even remember where we were. I think we had like a long lunch and then we went out to go catch lead card. Our lead card was already on. I forget everything was happening, but we were watching that, getting stats for both Kale and Nate. If they both missed, if they both got it, just all that stuff. There's a lot of drama with that, which was really interesting to watch. We got over right when Kale ended up tapping out I think he got a bogey on that hole and unfortunately looked out of it and ended up being out of the cut line. So that was like, just saw him right after and he was just like sitting there, like kind of didn't know where to go. And I kind of felt really bad. Like what an icon of the sport. Which I think he came back last week and had a great finish, or had a great couple rounds of Memorial. But then we saw Sexton coming up and Sexton was looking like he was out of it too. I think he was 4 strokes back, birdied the last 4. And we saw his like final throw, like super clutch, just forehand shot, parks it on the green. No video footage of that, which kind of is almost a shame. Like I wish there was, because that was so exciting being there on the ground. When Nate taps out his putt, like a 10-footer or so, literally the first things he says before he even grabs the disc is, I haven't missed cash in 14 years. And that was just it. I think he knew at that point, he got it. He's like, not today.
I can imagine that. It was like he was just waiting. He's like, this is my goal today. As soon as he punched it in, he's like, I haven't missed it. Yeah, that's awesome.
And we were following with Kale too. And Dion's good buddies with Nate.
Yeah.
Nate saw Dion as he was walking off and they're kind of chatting up. Dion was like, nice job and everything. And then we were talking and he was just, sorry, burping from the ice cream.
Ice cream.
I already had a lot. And he just is like, hey, like, yeah, Kale missed it, or we think, unless something crazy happened. And Nate was just like, his heart sunk. Like he felt bad. Now Nate's sitting in the highest active cash streak. That was not on his mind. He doesn't care about being in the lead for that.
Right.
He felt super bad for Kale. I think, great camaraderie between those two. Both before Kale lost it, Kale had the longer total events. Nate had the longer just purely on dates. both are just amazing icons for the sport. And so he was devastated to hear about Kale.
You're not wrong. Yeah, very important players to the sport. I want to do, because I think we're going to push Memorial Talk to after our next interview. And I want to involve Steve and you and even Ben in this question here is, there was we see Paige and Katrina a lot of years doing what they're doing. Sometimes it was more Paige, sometimes more Katrina. Lately, it's been a little bit more Katrina if we have recency bias, worlds and whatnot, the big events. But when it comes down to the MPO side, I don't think anybody would have went into this event like making the hot take that like it's going to be Drew Gibson and Gannon Buhr and like Ricky's not going to be in the final four, like, you know what I mean? The top four, like it's going to play out that scenario. Disc golf, I feel like tends to overreact like really quickly to something like this is it. This is the new thing, right? But I want to know, is Gannon Buhr, is he like, can you feel strongly and say that Gannon Buhr, yes, he is definitely here to stay. That might be easy, but he's going to be a top contender at like every event in the next 5 years. Like, do you feel that? What do you think about that, Steve?
I think about after Idlewild saying the exact same thing about Kyle Klein, and now Gannon Buhr. And it's kind of fun because you know that in the next 15 to 20 events, there's going to be a couple of new names that we don't know about, and they're going to be the next new thing also. And I hate to say it, but there's not enough room at the top for everybody to be the next new thing, which is super duper fun. But Gannon Buhr 100% seems to have the skill set. From what I understand, he is 9 years old. Is that correct?
Plus seven.
So he might be 16 years old. My daughter just turned 16. I can't imagine the pressure that he was under to be on that stage, to perform as amazingly as he did. He is a talent. He is here to stay. I'll call it. He's going to be on the podium at every event from here on out. There you go. It's what is that called?
Hot take.
Oh, there you go. Hopefully.
Sorry, I just coughed in the microphone.
And I gotta say, I enjoy it a lot when you guys are talking and I'm able to put this mic down and eat my ice cream.
Yeah.
It's super nice.
We'll let you do that. I appreciate your take.
I also think Drew's going to do pretty good this year.
Oh, man, we're going to push this to talk more. I want your reaction, Ben, on it. We are going to push that topic because, man, Drew Gibson is a whole topic too. Yeah, what did you think? Like after watching him in person too, like
yeah,
you were impressed.
Yeah, he's very, very good. It just, the ending kind of felt like, I think he just kind of felt the pressure at the end.
Interesting.
Hole 17, he just went for a complete layup. It looked a little bit bad out of his hand too, but I think that was actually just, he was going super safe shot and I just couldn't see it well. But I think Drew felt like complete in command. And so even though he was 2 back, Drew's like, I got this. I can get a birdie, or actually eagle. I don't even know what 17's par was, but he knew he could get a 2 on 17. And for Gannon, that would be tough. He would need a big putt. And that's exactly what happened. He gets the 2. Gannon can't make a 50-footer, which is very hard, or 60, 70-footer, whatever it was. But I will say, in hole 18, Drew knows he's going for it. He's got a good chance. He's got the power more than almost anyone else. He makes not the layup zone, but like the next zone after that. Gannon just feels like he has to do it too, and he makes it as well. And that moment was like, oh my goodness, that was a big move, because 17 felt like he was just like playing safe, hoping Drew didn't catch him. 18, he does the exact opposite. Unfortunately, his upshot just goes a little, like, barely long. Like it's not like he crushed it long. It wasn't a choke. It just barely missed. I think his poise is very good, even though I think he was a little bit nervous. I will say though, like Steve was saying, it is very crowded at the top. This is not a hot take. But like there is a definite possibility he could not have another Disc Golf Pro Tour podium this year. Like I think that's a possibility just because it is so crowded. He's going to finish in the top 10 for sure. I think he's going to get better as the year goes on. But there's just a chance. There's so much. It's so crowded up there. And I will say, do you know who got a podium, finished second place last year at LVC? Was
LVC.
The new thing. Just signed a big contract going into 2021. Everyone was like, this kid, I mean, he's older than Gannon is now, is going to crush it all season long.
Anthony Burrell. No,
Ezra Aderhold.
Ezra.
And some people thought he cooled off to the end of the year. He still had a fantastic year. A lot of top 25 finishes. LVC was his best finish. Just course suits him well. Had a really good, and then it's just hard to win, hard to finish top 5. That could be what it is for Gannon. I think Gannon's a little bit better than Ezra is. They're both very good. I think Gannon totally could win. I mean, Waco's coming up this weekend, and Waco was kind of his coming out party where he made lead card for, I think, round 2. So he could easily have another huge event this weekend. Everyone thinks he's the greatest thing ever, and he is very good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he could be a top 10 player by the end of the year. I think right now he sits around 10 to 15.
All right, so we're gonna table the rest of this conversation, but definitely bring up rankings and ranking system. Okay, bring that up because we know Steve Dodge has a system that he's worked on for a long time, and I know that Statmando has been working with that to make something maybe be more public, for instance. So we'll talk about that later. And Gannon Buhr, Drew Gibson, all those names will be interesting to look at. But you did kind of make a hot take. You said top 10 definitely this year. So
he'll have at least one more top 10 finish. I'm pretty confident with that. I don't think that's bold.
How many did he have last year? Just out of curiosity. I'm not saying last year's the same as this year, but I think to Steve's point, and this is where I'm going right before we bring in our other guest, is that the top is getting so crowded, but the top keeps shifting. So the top used to be 5 and then it was 10. Like that's what we called the top.
Right.
The top now, to me, if I'm giving a number, it's got to be at least 20, if not 25. I feel like if you're in that top 25 now, you're probably as good as people used to be in the top 5, 8 years ago or 10 years ago.
Well, Nate Sexton barely cashed. Kale Laviska didn't cash.
Yeah.
The cash line in golf, it's the cash line.
Yeah.
In disc golf, it's going to be the cash line. We're probably 1 year away from the cash line being very significant.
There it is. I like that take. That's great. Evan is chewing on his cookie dough that Steve delivered.
Yeah, that was a huge
one
piece.
last take before we bring in women's disc golf.
Gannon Buhr had 2 standard disc golf pro tour elite top 10 finishes last year. 4th at Preserve, 10th at GMC. Also finished 5th at the Pro Tour Championship.
So what is that, like 4, 5 events?
Yeah, 2, 3 if you count the Tour Championship.
Okay.
He had an 11th place finish at Waco last year, 12th place finish at Des Moines Challenge.
Okay.
And 12th place at USDGC.
So either the top's going to get harder and he might bump a little bit, or he'll do better than he did last year. And we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. That's a good conversation. We will talk more about it. In fact, we're going to talk about Memorial, which doesn't include him, but we'll talk about Memorial a little bit following this interview. We are going to go ahead and bring in Ben. While the rest of us enjoy ice cream, we're going to make them talk. Steve was so kind to do that for us. Let's go ahead and bring in New England Women's Disc Golf, or the acronym NEWDG. Yeah, right now we've got them cropped a little bit. We'll pull them up full screen in a minute. I want to welcome to the show our friends here. We've got Chantal. Okay, we went over this. I just butchered it. Chantal, Kim, and Juge. Now, if you're like Juge, yes, we know her in New England. This is where we're from. That's her nickname, Jugie. We got Julie Ferdella, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and just let you guys have the floor here. And that's a New England term, by the way, you guys. Okay, you're used to that. You guys have the floor. So, Julie, tell us a little bit about New England Women's Disc Golf, NEWDG, and some of the histories and goals you have for this year coming. My understanding is that you are one of the founders. You're a co-founder to this whole organization. So tell us about that and your goals.
Sure. Thanks for having us, Matt. We're really excited to be here. So New England Women's Disc Golf was a thought. I was 3 years into playing and I was sick of showing up to tournaments and not seeing other ladies around. So I grabbed Mindy, who helped me co-found this thing from Maple Hill. We were playing a whites league together every Friday night, a singles league. Got to know her really well, and she had a similar passion of growing women's disc golf in New England. So we started a traveling league, made some bag tags. During this traveling league, we met another one of our current board members for NEWDG, KG Dudley, and so many other women we met through this league throughout the years. We started a putting league in 2015, which took a little bit of hiatus, but is continuing now at the schoolyard in West Boylston. And we also tried to do a women's tournament series in 2016 and 2017 with a tournament in each New England state. And while it was pretty successful, I think that it lacked the current pandemic traction that disc golf has seen recently. And with all of the new players, coming out of the pandemic, it just seems like a really good time to start to focus in on making women feel welcome in disc golf in New England again. So we've kind of reconvened, got some board members. We are currently seeking applications from state representatives from around New England and including New York and New Jersey, trying to also encompass NEFA, trying to get women to sign up for NEFA as well. And we currently have a women's league at Maple Hill that we run. We're starting on April 6th. We have putting league, as I mentioned, which really we run for the ladies, but this past week we did have 54 people show up. It was pretty incredible. And there's also another opportunity for women to get together and play at the Borderland Women's Monthly run by Kim here.
Awesome. Yeah. So Kim, welcome to the show as well. I don't know Kim or Chantal as well, but I also want to be sure that Evan in here can ask any question. Steve can, Ben can. They have microphones. If they're wanting to, they can follow up any of these. But Kim, go ahead and tell us about this future series. Juge made a note about growing it and getting state reps to apply, and you're a part of growing this as well. You have a future of series for the New England Women's Disc Golf. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're starting off with the Bay State Queen Women's Series. We just launched that a couple of weeks, just last week, I think. And how it started was back in early January on a snowy Saturday. My Disc Golf 978 teammate and my Team Challenge teammate, Steph Barnett, had messaged me with this logo for a one-round women's series event tournament she wanted to run out of our home course at Borderland. She and I were going back and forth about the different women's events. I had offered to help out Juge and Chantal with the Women's Global event. She had known about a couple of other women's events, and it just kind of a light bulb moment of like, we need to do something with this. Knowing that there is 4 separate women's events all occurring within a month apart, we need to make this something. So I immediately got Juge and Chantal on board. They were all for it. I got all the TDs who are running these events together in a group chat and said, hey, what do you think? Do we want to make a women's series for Massachusetts? It seems like a really cool opportunity with the growth of the sport. As Juge mentioned, the pandemic numbers have really helped. Everyone was on board. And I think within 2 hours, we had the name of the series. We had a logo design. We had outreach to my sister-in-law, who's a graphic designer, to make our logo. And it had just totally exploded into what it's starting to become now. And so what the event is, it's going to consist of 4 events going from Memorial Day to Labor Day, including the finale. So on Memorial Day, there's a Sunstein Open at 501 in Warren, Mass. Rivas is the TD. He's a super experienced TD in our area who's doing a total women's day, which is super cool. The Empress Open at Oak Ridge in Gill, Mass, run by Casey Della Penna, and that's going to be on June 18th. The Shield Maidens at Borderland State Park in Easton, like I mentioned, is going to be run by Steph Barnett on July 10th. The Women's Global event, Revenge on Red, is going to be run by the 2 lovely ladies next to me on August 7th at Maple Hill. Thank you, Steve Dodge. And our BSQ finale is going to be held at Crooked Birch in West Brookfield, Mass on Labor Day. And the New England Women's Disc Golf is going to be co-hosting that for the finale. And we're super excited about this, but it's honestly just the beginning of all the great ideas and the great things we have in store for the women's disc golf in the New England region.
Okay. Is Steve sitting here and he says you're welcome, I think.
I actually have a question for these 3 wonderful ladies. When I look at golf, I think that we have about 40% of the people that play golf are women. Do you have any idea what percentage of people that play disc golf are women? And what's your goal in New England? What percentage of people in New England do you want to get to be women? Like, are you shooting for 40%? Are you shooting for 5%? What are we trying to do?
More than there are right now.
I love you, Julie.
And to be completely transparent, we don't know the current percentage, but obviously, yes, we would definitely shoot for that 40% if we're not already there, and then even further if we can. Like 50% of women are on this world, so why can't 50% of disc golfers be women?
Exactly the number I was hoping you would say. 50% is where we need to be, if not higher. I wouldn't mind playing a sport that was mostly women personally. But 50%, I think, is where we need to go. We need to beat golf. And thank you, ladies, for making it happen.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve, for all of your support.
Yeah, Steve, we're happy to have you here. This is awesome having him in studio. So let me ask this. He asked a question a certain way, and then we're going to hand it over to Chantal to talk about some of what she's doing there. But he asked percentage, of players and all that. Like, do you have a number that you have as a goal for these events? So, and I'm just being honest, like, is it, we want 20 I know you want to fill it. That's your goal, I'm sure. But like, do you have an expectation of what that might actually look like? 20 players at an event, 40, 60, 10, like, what are your expectations?
I mean, the other night at our women's league, we had 12 women out of 54, and 7 of them were there for their first time. I feel like the possibilities right now are truly endless. 10 years ago, you'd be lucky to have 1 to 2 women at a tournament. I truly think at these women's events, we could field at least 30.
Easily.
Yeah.
in
That's
my
awesome.
opinion.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how you said there was 12 and 7 were new. That just shows you the opportunity, especially for these years following the pandemic and into it. Like what happened there is exponentially going to be different. So that's awesome. Before we get over to Chantal, the chat said these 3 women versus Nick, Matt, and Evan has to happen for some play. So we'll do that sometime. We'll try to get it on video. All right, let's go over to Chantal. New England wide series you're going to talk about and some of the things that you're doing for your long-term initiatives and goals, if you don't mind filling us in.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously right now we're going to grow it as much as we can with our initial ideas, but our goal is long-term growth. So how are we going to do that? One of the things we want to do is encompass New England into our series rather than right now it's just Massachusetts events. So with our state reps that we're recruiting, we want to kind of help them build either their own series or their own events in their states and culminate that into a New England Women's Disc Golf Championship rather than just a Bay State Queen Championship. So hopefully we get women traveling from all over these states to come and participate in this finale, and it just be just this huge, amazing thing that we can create. Yeah, and basically our goal is to kind of create a foundation, a legacy to outlive us that kind of consistently gives women that kind of welcoming hug into the sport, because I know that's what got me to stay in the sport. I met Juge and we were done. I was here to stay. But that's kind of our goal. Yes, I met her at Putting League. Yep.
Well, there's no shortage of saying you're doing great with what you're doing. It's interesting to, as someone who used to invest in nonprofit, like trying to do the kids side, I'll call it the minorities of disc golf. You do get a lot of thanks, but you also do a lot of work that goes unnoticed. So I want to say from the Nick and Matt show, keep it up. When things keep happening with what you're doing there, we'll come back and get reports from you. I appreciate the fact that you would come on and share this. We hope our audience, New England and well beyond, one outside of New England is inspired, and then inside of New England hears and wants to get involved. So how can they contact you? What's the best way?
We have a Instagram. It is at NEWDG_. We also have a Facebook page, New England Women's Disc Golf. And our Facebook group is NEWDG New England Women's Disc Golf. I believe there's also a Twitter, NE_ New England Women's_DG. It exists. I saw it on a Facebook memory today.
Google
on
it.
Smashbox. Something
We'll
about
reactivate.
Smashbox. And what was the other?
We also have a Gmail, so newomensdg@gmail.com if you just want to say hey.
Awesome. Yeah. If you want to, feel free, Ben, to put that in the chat, or you guys can just go chat it up in the live chat now and just share that as well. It'll be there for people to click on and follow or to find out more.
Perfect.
All right. Hey, did we miss anything? Is there anything else you wanted to say before we let you go?
Our Women's Wednesdays start at Maple Hill on April 6th. We have tee times 5 o'clock through 5:20 booked. So if you're a lady and you want to come, Wednesdays are free at Maple for women. And if you want to travel down and just see what we're all about, it's very casual and fun, and you don't have to worry about being good or not. We just want to hang out.
Yeah, and keep an eye on our socials because we're going to try and run some fun events and some clinics for people to participate in, introduce to the sport, stuff like that.
I'm going to tell my wife to watch this segment of the show. She needs to. No,
Come on, Dad.
yeah. Need is a strong word. She's got, well, I was going to say 4 boys, but including me, 5 boys at home who play disc golf. And she gets out and she enjoys it. I think she would be a force to be reckoned with. I think she would. We'll see if she wants to get involved. I'll send her
Tell
over.
her we said to come hang out with us.
All right. I'll do that. That'd be and Maple Hill Wednesdays. That's not even that far.
Yes.
So.
Even better.
And I'm just going to piggyback on that. Go on to maplehilldiscgolf.com. On Wednesday, if you're a woman, make your tee time, use the coupon code MHWomen, and you will get to play for free all day Wednesday. And you can do that before league and then play with Julie and friends, or you can do it and not even play league. We just want more women to come out and play, and eventually they'll find their way to league and NEWDG.
Awesome. Thank you very much, ladies, for coming on. Hit us up again if there's something you want to share. We'd be glad to have you on.
Thanks for having us.
All right, have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
All right, peace out. Okay, everybody, that was New England Women's Disc Golf. They're doing big things. They reached out, and I said, for sure, let's get you on and let's talk about it, because I realize we have a worldwide audience. We've got a national audience. We've got a New England audience. That's where we're all from. In fact, that segment, Steve, included somebody, and I'm going to give you the accolades and the props now, somebody who's the founder of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the board game BIRDIE, and running the final playoff event for 2022, the MVP Open, also one of the longer, more prestigious, exciting, nostalgic events out there. Nick and Matt, come on, we're in Leicester, started a show here. That's something. Evan Stat Mando, all right, 1/3 was in New England, but he's here. And then we had New England Women's Disc Golf. So that was a very, regionally friendly segment. And I just realized behind me, I've got, for the viewing audience, it's repeating me like for infinity into the background. So that was to help Steve out so he could see our lovely guests tonight. Okay.
Matt, we've also got Simon Lizotte and Marshall Street Disc Golf. New England, Central Massachusetts is rocking it as far as disc golf goes. This is fantastic.
It's actually kind of interesting how Leicester, Massachusetts is on the map.
And I just went to the town hall today. We're going to be having Maple Hill weekends, and they just approved us having beer on every weekend starting, I don't even know when, Memorial Day? Is that before Labor Day?
Wow.
Which one's first?
Labor Day is fall. Memorial Day is May.
Memorial Day. So starting Memorial Day and running through the tournament, we're going to have Maple Hill weekends. And the town was super excited to have us say, they were just like, yeah, sell beer, go to it. More people coming to Leicester. It's not only are we killing it in disc golf, but the town recognizes it. All 11,000 of us.
I know. That's cool. Before you got over here, I had read off the text to Ben about what you were trying to accomplish. And I was like, it's probably for the MVP Open. The fact that Steve says it's for like weekends at MVP or at Maple Hill, that's a really awesome thing. And we don't want to miss Noah Cronin out of New England, doing great things with his YouTube disc golf channel as well. I saw that in the chat. Yeah, shout out to him. All right, let's do this. Are you ready, Evan, to give us the stats for Memorial?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give us the stats there. We'll react to that, and then we've got a lot of other things to talk about.
Well, the big news was Paul McBeth shot another 1100 rated round in round 1, goes on to win. Almost less exciting than the first round. I feel like everyone was going crazy about the 1100, and then at the end, it's Paul wins, and it's like, okay, Paul wins the Memorial. Cool.
I haven't watched it yet.
We don't do spoiler alerts on this channel anymore.
You know, I actually fell for that too. I was like, oh no, like, whoops.
That was fun to say.
Evan genuinely was like,
yeah, I don't even know. It's the ice cream. Paul McBeth wins by 3 strokes over Anthony Barella. Aaron Gossage surprisingly had a 3rd place finish. He had a few good finishes last year, kind of jumped on the scene, and this year now getting a podium finish at one of the best
Was it the Portland Open? Is that where
OTB Open? Is where I'm
it was the
thinking.
West Coast.
Yeah, that was like the really big one. I think
That's
he had another pretty good finisher too. Drew Gibson follows up his dramatic win with 4th place along with Adam Hammis. Jordan Castro, I believe he said this was his best finish at Memorial ever, finishes 6th. And Andrew Marweed, new sponsorship with DGA. Excuse me. Still the ice cream. He actually had the weird situation where he made the cut because there was ties that went past the cash line, but then missed the cash line because then there was no more ties in the final round. Kind of a weird situation, but misses cash at LVC, comes back and gets the 7th place finish at Memorial. On the women's side, Kristen Tatar gets her first win in the U.S. this year, winning by 3 strokes over Jennifer Allen, who I'm now dubbing Jennifer Arizona. Because she crushes it in Arizona.
Yeah.
Does she live there now? I'm not. Is that where
that's
she's
a good
from?
question. She is there.
Might.
Yeah. She's yeah. That's
But
her area.
She had a lot. Like I think she won 2 or 3 already this year so far in Arizona. Like Shelly Sharp and
that she did.
Yeah. What's the other early Arizona?
Winter?
No, not wintertime. That's a California. Shelly Sharp, and there is one more. Maricopa Open.
Thank you. I said thank you.
Then Owen Scoggins is in 3rd. Henna Blomroos, who, speaking of missing cuts, like missed cut at LVC, really big story. She comes back, it's a 4th place finish, beating her Finnish partner, Evelina Salonen, and Emily Beach, also tying for 5th, who had a great, not a lot of people know her, had a great finish. I forget where it was exactly at LVC, did really well, following it up with another 5th place finish.
So the big takeaways are so many, but the big takeaways, Paul Macbeth, shooting 1100 rated. Ratings are important for this reason, in my opinion. We are able to see and make an understanding, a guess at how they would have performed with the whole field there, meaning 1108 is really good. The argument on the other side is that course just gives high ratings. So how do we know really, but if you take it for what it's worth and you kind of say within 10 points of that, even if it was 1100 rated, right? That's good. So he shot a great round. I think Anthony Barella, that was 2nd place, right?
Yep.
Anthony Barella, I think it was 3 weeks ago, right before the tour started. I was like, that's someone, we were picking our picks in the top 20 or outside of the top 20 that might. I think if he's all in, if he ever gets all in and he gains the experience, I see him just doing really well, like on a consistency level. And then I'm just going to wrap it up with this one here. Aaron Gossage, you mentioned him. My reaction to that is he's obviously good because we saw him perform well at a few other events, but he doesn't strike me as like Gannon Buhr, whereas like new, if you will, to the scene and that aspect. And like, you just believe he's going to do it. Can Aaron do it? Yes. Can Andrew Marweed do it? Yes. Like start listing off all these names that you think are great and can pop off. How about, I see this, Connor O'Reilly. Does that name ring a bell? Like winning an event and then coming right over to Maple Hill and getting humbled. Like Aaron Gossage to me right now is in that category of like he can, but I predict that, and it is what it is. I predict he's going to be in the 30 range, which is good, but I don't see him popping off a lot of hot events. Prove me wrong. Any reactions to Memorial, Steve? You didn't watch it, but Kristen Tatar taking it down.
I'm very impressed with the way Gannon Buhr held up to Drew, and like Drew knew he was going to win the whole way, and Gannon held on and took him all the way to 18, took him to 4 playoff holes. Wait, what event?
Yeah. Memorial, Steve.
I've got to say, we're it seems like about 20 minutes ago we were saying Gannon Buhr is the next coming of ice cream, and now there's some new guy named Paul Macbeth who all of a sudden is maybe going to be great also. So it's crowded at the top. If you're in the top 10 at any of these elite events, you are doing very well. Next year, if you make the cash, congrats. You're a phenomenal disc golfer.
All right. let me elaborate on, or get you to elaborate on that a little bit more. Top 10, to me, Matt Graham, my take is going to be, and some people hate me for it, flash in the pan. You hit top 10, you're good enough. I feel like this is a real hot take. I could place top 10 if I played my absolute dream best. Because if you look at all of my best holes, if you look at Steve shaking his head, if you look at all of my like dream play, like I play 100 rounds at Fountain Hills, right? And okay, I birdied every single hole in one of those rounds. I put all of those together, my best holes. All right, maybe I get close to top 10. It's not happening on the regular, but my point is,
It's not happening.
I don't think it's
fair.
happening either.
That's fair. Fountain Hill, yeah, Fountain
But
Hills.
like, to be fair,
No.
if I played a pro tour event, it would be like, what are the chances I don't finish last or I'm second to last? I think finishing last would be higher. So I'm not trying to make a
Yeah.
dig at you, Matt.
No, I don't feel
think
a
you're
dig.
finishing top 10.
I'm talking, okay.
If you
Literally, if I have to re-say my statement, I was saying dream. Like,
Matt, what's your best round at Maple Hill? Gold.
in the current situation it is, or if I go back 6 years, I shot a 60. That I know that's still 6 off. But if I was able to shoot a 60 3 rounds in a row, where does that put you?
Probably about 40th.
40th.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's Maple Hill.
So
I got to pick and
Right.
choose. I got to
That's
pick and
my
choose
point.
the course. Yeah, but I'm
Alright.
not saying every course.
But is your argument top
Pick and
10
choose.
or a like slight possibility of making cash if I played?
Yeah,
Every
I
round.
was exaggerating.
It-
My point is this. One time somebody in the Pro Tour making top 10, and then we don't hear about them. In fact, if we go down to UDIST rankings or your rankings that you have going on, and we go down to the 72nd person, we might know them. But if we go into that general range of 10, there's going to be someone in there that we're like, we don't really know anything about them.
Can you beat Nick?
Yes.
That's a good baseline for me.
Can I? Yes. On the regular, definitely not. But I can.
Nick-
And it's usually when he's not playing his best and I'm playing probably my better golf.
Nick is a fantastic player. I don't think he has a top 10 finish. Like, I think his best finish was probably Worlds,
I'm
which
not
was incredible. But
not
that was-
saying I would get a top 10. I said dream. Like as in like
No.
you put all my best, absolute best holes I've ever done.
When I said if you get a top 10 finish, you're playing amazingly well.
Yes.
You did a fantastic thing.
Yes, you
I
did.
wasn't arguing if you get in the top 10, you are an elite player. I was not arguing that.
Mhm.
I was saying that we are going to start looking at, and we probably already have started looking at top 10 is the way that you had an amazing event. You did great. That's what I'm saying. So Matt Graham, if you get in the top 10, you did great that weekend. I'm not saying you're an elite player. I'm saying you did great that weekend.
I absolutely love the fact that the chat is going wild in agreement with Steve Dodge about me and Evan. Mass delusional stick to podcasting. This is my job. I love it. I would say everything that you guys are saying is correct. And I was just trying to get you to say that, which is they did it once. They're obviously good.
Right.
But are they great? We don't know.
Not necessarily.
How many times, and this that was the longest way to get to this point. How many times do they place in the top 10 in a season where you go, they're really good? Is it 2 times? It starts to tip it a little bit for me. If I had to give a number right now, I'm going to say if they place top 10 4 times, I'm going, we need to watch them. Like
Agreed.
from here on out.
And 3 is a
3 is a. So for Aaron Gossage, he is somebody on the radar because of last year and because of this performance. Now, granted, this was an A tier. We didn't have all, like, who were we missing? We were missing Gannon. We were missing Ricky. We were missing who else? Nate Sexton. We were missing, like, go down the whole list, right?
Eagle
So-
McMahon, but
Eagle McMahon, no big deal.
not to. It's I think it's about as good as a Silver Series, your average Silver Series event. It's about that, maybe a little bit on the lower side, but it's definitely like it's a better field than your lowest Silver Series.
Okay, before we get off of this topic, because I want to I have to stick it back just a little bit. You said Nick hasn't even done it. But if we're going to have this argument because Nick's not here, I actually think Nick can. Like,
Right.
and I don't even think it would be a dream. Like, I think he could have his good or great rounds and average 1,040 or 1,050, which he's capable of, and he would place top 10. And so, yeah, I'm not going to be shooting 1,040, 1,050, but just to put it out there, Steve's going to ask, in my life, I've shot 1,020 something rated rounds. That's usually my limit. So that's going to put me in 40th. Yeah. So I'm on board with that.
is Nick going to get 1040 followed by a 1040 followed by a 1040?
You're asking me if he can, and I would say yes.
Okay.
Will he keep working?
I'd trust the boards on that one. I trust the boards
Matt,
on what
I understand
they say.
your point. You're not saying necessarily your round ratings are good enough, but you're saying if you took your best holes, which is more of like what I agree with. I can never put
That's what I'm
18
saying.
together. And
Exactly.
So you're saying you have birdied a such and such hole before.
Thank you. I must not have been communicating it.
I get your point, and that you're doing it based on a hole and not a round,
Yes.
and then it's event.
There used to be an app, and this is going back, Steve. I can remember at one point, and I'm not trying to take any credit for anything because you thought it up. But Steve goes, Matt, like, because he knew I was into like little tech stuff and this and that. Like, do you know of an app that like scores golf and we could use for disc golf? This was pre-UDisc. And at that point, you had probably just started conversations or were just about to start conversations with Kruger and Josh over there. And I was like, yeah, there's an app that I'm using. And it was literally just a golf for ball golf. And it would let you track where you shot it and all that kind of stuff. And I remember it would tell me what my dream round was. Like that was one of the features. It was like, if you played all of the holes that you've played your best here, like you could shoot 16 under on golds. And I was like, all right, like I could do it. It gives you that hope, right? That's literally the take I was trying to make. For anyone who thinks I actually think I could place in top 10, no, I'm not saying that. It's not going to happen. It would never happen.
Did that app after your second shot say, oops, you can't do it?
Yeah, sorry, you're already off track.
You're already off base.
Yeah. So, okay, that was fun. Let's go ahead. That was a good recap of Memorial. It's not a Pro Tour event. It used to be. It's now an A tier. We don't need to give it that much time. I mean, there's some storylines.
I want to give a quick shout out. My new wife and I.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Hi, Jesse. My new wife and I recently went to the Cheesecake Factory in Natick, which is the same cheesecake factory that Matt and I went to when we discussed making UDisc into a live scoring app for the Pro Tour and doing all the stats. And I texted Matt while I was there and took a picture of us. And I was like, hey, we're in the Cheesecake Factory. And he texted back, where dreams are made.
Where dreams are made, the Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, my wife loves the Cheesecake Factory. It's a great place. Yeah, congratulations on that, Steve. The ceremony and the reception in Maple Hill, is that
they were sort of
private?
back to back right upstairs in the sap house. We had about 25 people, you know, probably 12 people from her family, 12 from mine, and one other person. I don't know who that would have been.
Well, that's great. Followed by rounds of Birdie, the game, right at the reception table.
It was really fun because from my daughters who were 13 and 15 at the time to grandparents, 13 to 80, everybody's playing skee ball and shuffleboard and air hockey and pool. Every game was being played and everybody was having fun. It was a great time. I would recommend everybody get married upstairs in the sap house.
You just had to outdo Paul Macbeth. He got engaged up there. You're like, we're taking it to the sky, to the moon, right? That was good.
A lot of people have gotten engaged at Maple Hill, but I needed to, I needed to be top 10.
At least in one thing. I'll find out what that thing is for me. Top 10. I don't know what it is. Talking. Yeah, okay. All right. Let's get some of these smaller topics out of the way. And then I want to talk about the big news that came out this last week. Sweet video with MVP Steve Dodge. We're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, here's a simple reaction. And I think it's pretty straightforward. Chris Dickerson alludes to the fact that his performance at LVC was related to not knowing his bag fully. He said, I am not happy with my finish, especially after having the lead after round one or one round in. But he did allude to the fact, hey, it's my discs. Now, I'm not trying to peg the guy for saying he wasn't ready for a season, getting new discs. But I've noticed, I think every player we've ever interviewed that has a new bag will ask that question. Like, hey, what's your timeline for a grace period, if you will? And everyone always goes, nope, no grace period. I was a little bit surprised that he was going to pin his performance on that, at least a portion of it. Do you think that actually factored in? That is it? Or is this an excuse for him? Like, what's your reaction to that? I have my opinion. I'm just opening it up to the floor.
I think it's fair, and it's not obviously that Discraft makes bad discs, and it's just that Chris now has new discs, and he just isn't fully comfortable in an elite level. I think it's a bad excuse to say publicly. I will say that. I don't think it looks good to say that. If I was in that position, I would just say, hey, I didn't perform well enough. Not that saying you're learning the disc. You chose to move sponsorships. It's on you. It's not disc or anything else. It's you. And I think Chris feels that way. I don't know how he worded it exactly. So I would avoid saying it's the disc fault and just say, hey, I wasn't ready to play LVC.
So I'm going to jump in here. I don't know if you were asking me that or not, Matt.
I was.
But in my opinion, Chris is a straight shooter. He's always honest to a fault. I've had plenty of interviews where I've said things that were, in my opinion, honest that I ought not have said. But in my opinion, I respect Chris to the highest. He was at the tournament last year at the MVP Open, and I just walked up to him sort of randomly, like you're passing somebody, say, hey, Chris, how you doing? He said, eh. And it was just like, he's willing to be honest. And if I believe him, and he says it's his discs, I believe him. Whether or not he should say that out loud, I say, yeah, go ahead. Be honest with your fans. You're going to get better. He knows he's going to get better. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, and that's where I stand. I agree 100% with your what's the right word there? The way you're analyzing him as a person. Same experience I have. Like, he was very straight opinion, sharing his truth. I'm not going to echo everything everyone else said. I'm in the same boat. I think it is his discs. Like, he's not familiar with them. He's throwing Prodigy for so long. You would imagine he's just going to have to, I don't know. Is he going to say it again after the next event? How many events would go by is kind of my question. And whether it's his truth or not, that's one thing. But at what point is it like, well, it needs to work for you. Like, you can't keep saying that. And if you are, like, is this a bad deal? Like, do you need to reconfigure your sponsorship? But that's way down the road. I don't see that happening. All right. After that happy topic, let's move right over to Steve Dodge here. So, really cool video announcement that you made. It looked like maybe you guys were separate locations, but then you were in the next door office or whatever that was. And it comes up, is really fun. I don't have the audio to play back here tonight, but tell us about how that deal, or what it is. Give us the what it is, and then how long did that take to come to be? And like, where are you at? Like, that conversation start 2 years ago, 10 years ago? Tell us what it is and then how it came to be.
I'll do it as quickly as I can.
Well, we got all night, baby.
Well, I got to get home to Jesse. I got things to do. Like watch TV.
Ball and chain. I mean, disc and chain.
New season, the last season of Ozark comes out on my birthday. It is going to be a stellar night.
Okay.
So, anyway, this off season, basically, actually, it was before the tournament. I was approached by another disc golf manufacturer about becoming the title sponsor of the premier event at Maple Hill, and I immediately called Steve Holloway and said, "I have another suitor. I'm interested in pursuing this. I'm also interested in staying with you, and I'm going to be candid and upfront with both of you on all of this." And the process that we put in place was that they would make a bid, and I told MVP all they had to do was match it, and I'll stay with MVP. And that was a pretty easy conversation. So the other company made a bid. It was a very impressive bid, between 50 and 75% above what the event had been getting. And I talked with Steve at MVP, and he said, we're not going to match that. We're going to beat it. And he proposed a 5-year deal. And it's funny because I think it's exactly what happens in the video. He proposed a 5-year deal, and I said, I want a 10-year deal. I don't want to bother with this ever again. Well, I guess in 10 years. But I'm done. I don't want to have any confusion. The event, in my opinion, is already one of the fun things about the event is that it's had so many different names. And I'd like to just put that behind me and just be the MVP Open for a very long time. So that's where we're going to be. The negotiation. Anyway, they ended up beating the deal, and it was a slam dunk. It was pretty easy to decide at that point. And the first year is actually closer to 100,000 than 200,000. And then the last year is closer to more than 200,000.
I like that.
So basically, the first 5 years is about a third of the contract, and then halfway through, we're going to renegotiate, and then we'll figure it out. Because realistically, in 10 years, we have no idea where disc golf's going to be. So we want to renegotiate in 5 years, and then if disc golf has blown up, it'll be bigger than a $2 million contract. And if disc golf stays on its, well, if it slows down its growth pattern, it'll be a $2 million contract.
Okay, cool. I find that very interesting and very well thought out, to where exactly I saw some reactions like, hey, that could be a bad deal for Steve. Like it
Yes,
could be.
It could have been, yeah.
So, but the way you worked it out, it seems like that can't be the case, or it won't be the case. So what does 200,000, if we just break it evenly, okay, or 100,000,
which isn't fair to the event.
It's fine. What does money in the hundreds of thousands look like for Maple Hill? Is this an MVP event sponsorship, or is this, here's a check, Steve, thanks for letting us sponsor the event?
Did you see the Bentley?
No, I didn't. Tell us some more.
What this means for Maple Hill? Well, I don't have a Bentley, and
Okay.
and I don't expect to for a long time.
Helicopter? Oh wait, that's a little more.
What this means for Maple Hill is new parking, an investment in more parking. What this means is an investment in more bleachers on hole 8. I was talking with Joel out on hole 8 last week, I believe, and we've found spaces for about 200 people along the left side of that bowl, and you can see the pin perfectly. You can see all the way straight back to the tee. It's a phenomenal spot. And then over time, we just expand those. And over 3 years, I want to have seats for 600-700 people back there. And that's going to grow into an even more fun spot in disc golf. The big thing that we're going to do, though, is we're going to put, I think we're going to do 2 sets of bleachers. These are 10 row, 33 feet bleachers that hold about 180 people. And then, and they're elevated. And then in between them will be an elevated stage where the tee will be. And so that we'll have an elevated stage with elevated bleachers. So people can stand next to it. People can be on the bleachers. They can be in front of the bleachers. And we'll have space for, 300 to 400 people at hole 1 while people are teeing off. And that's the biggest investment that we're going to be making. And I have 6 emails in my 6 emails in my inbox right now with quotes from different companies for bleachers. And a couple of them are saying this quote is good for 3 days. Like aluminum is, I have no idea.
Wow.
Come on. Pricing things out right now is just insanity.
Yeah.
So they're like, this quote is good for 3 days. And I'm like, I don't have $50,000 in my pocket. So, but anyway, the bleachers are pretty damn expensive, and we're going to get a couple of really big ones. And the goal is for the next 3 years to invest heavily in the infrastructure at Maple Hill so that we can double the number of spectators from last year and then double it again for the year after. And I actually have an extra little reason I want to have more bleachers on hole 1 at Maple Hill.
It's time.
And now, for a Nick and Matt Show exclusive.
That's
all
what
right,
it is.
Steve. All right, what do you got for us? We got quiet there for a second. We got to build the drama.
So,
where we got?
I made a Facebook post probably about an hour before I came on. Did you see that Facebook post?
We're going to be on Nick and Matt.
Well, that's not all I said.
Oh, then I missed it. Mr. Social Media.
I give everything I say. There's a reason for every single well thought out word that I say.
The tickets go on sale? Or where am I missing it? Did you do a comment?
I said I'm going to be on the Nick and Matt show.
Oh, yes, to discuss Maple, MVP. Steve, how did I miss? And a million other things. Let us have it.
And a million other things. So I am very excited to announce on the Nick and Matt show, for the first time in the history of disc golf, on Thursday after the rounds, we are going to have a $1 million ace contest.
$1 million ace contest. And this is my general, my serious reaction is, has this ever happened before? Immediately. Has anybody, have you ever, Steve, you've been around a long time.
I looked it up for a long time. I could not find anything even close. $1 million ace contest. But not only that, we had the New England women's disc golf people here today, right?
Yes.
This is a women's ace contest. We're having the top 8 women in the world, distance accuracy women, take a 450-foot shot. If any of them get it, they will win $1 million. Not only that, but each of them get 4 shots.
Oh,
so we're going to get 32 shots at this basket 450 feet away. And we all know these women can rip it. I have a feeling one of them is going to win it.
Really? Okay.
They have to.
Okay.
32 shots. It's like a gimme.
Okay. So first of all, let's put the cart before the what do they say? How that works? Anyways, let's say someone hits it.
Let's put the cart before what are they going to buy?
Yeah. So let's go. Yeah. Where are they going on vacation? Okay. So I'm putting it ahead. They throw it in. What actually happens in the disc golf world when somebody wins $1 million?
Wait, before we go there.
Okay.
Before we go there. Tickets went on. Is today what day is it?
The 7th.
It's the 7th. Tickets went on sale today for the MVP Open. If you got a ticket for Thursday, you're going to be, I hope you'll stay, you're going to be sitting in those bleachers watching 8 women throw for $1 million at the MVP Open. This is so freaking, I have goosebumps all over these clothed arms.
That's beautiful, Steve.
So anyway, now you can go to wherever you're going.
So what happens, and we're going to go more on the topics of what's going on at the event, but what happens when somebody throws that in? I'm just going to pick out of the hat, Paige Pierce or whoever, throws it in.
Wait, let's list the women that could do it.
All right.
Evan,
list
you got it?
The top 8 women.
Little ice cream now.
Hold on. I'm just going to do this. There's ice cream everywhere. I'm going to UDisc rankings right now just to give us a general idea.
General idea.
Kristen Tatar, is she going to be around? Maybe not.
For $1 million, she might be.
For $1 million, yeah. Oh, this is great. Okay, there's so many points. We were not totally prepped on this topic. We knew something was coming. This is a topic, wasn't fully prepared.
I told you very clearly. I said I have 1 million things to discuss.
We did not prep this topic to think through, who's going to be at these events to play for this. So let me just list the top 8. Kristen Tatar, Paige Pierce, Evelina, Katrina, Haley King. If Henna's here, again, we don't know these, but we'll keep going. Missy Gannon, Sarah Hokum, Kona would be in that maybe 8th, depending on who shows up.
Now, the people that are actually getting to do this,
yes,
UDisc is developing a new stat right now. They've actually done it for LVC. They're going to run it for a few more events before they release it publicly. But this new AccuDistance stat is what's going to determine who gets to do it. It's not the top 8 players in the world.
Oh,
it's the top 6 players in this new stat plus 2 fan votes.
Ooh.
So they're going to take, I'm simplifying this, but an average of distances thrown, kind of?
It's an AccuDistance. I don't know how for me, I do like a par 4 circle 1.
But they're not getting in based off of performance.
Correct, yes. If all you do is throw far and throw accurately, and you 4-putt every hole, you're going to be in this contest.
Well,
if you make the playoffs, you have to make it into the MVP Open also.
All right, so it keeps narrowing down, but those who get to do it have earned it. Number 1, and it's going to be incredible to watch. I'm definitely going to be there for sure on that. All right,
Evan, who are the top 6 women in AccuDistance?
I don't have the AccuDistance stat in front of me.
Pull it up.
Wait, is it up here?
Statmando.com/AccuDistance.
Oh, I wish. Judging by the all-stars, Paige and Katrina, anyways,
for sure,
would be my guess. They can smash and accurately. Evelina is known as a huge power player. I would say, I think Kristen Tatar probably as well.
Is Kona?
Kona is then that distance when she. This is hole 1.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little downhill, but is it 450?
15, 20 feet downhill. Yes.
It's 450 as the crow flies, not with meaning elevation is going to be a part of this. So realistically, you shouldn't have to be able to throw 450 on a flat field.
400, 410 is probably the overall distance.
You know how many times I've cleared the pond, Steve? He's laughing.
Well, it's
my
funny.
dream, is this my dream throw or is this my real throw?
It's funny that you probably know the number of time. I mean,
I think I've done it maybe twice in my dreams. No, I've done it once. And that was actually back when I was newer, so something changed. But yes.
so I genuinely hope somebody hits this because I've already started saving up money.
Well, that's the next question. I said it's the elephant in the room. Who's funding this? Is this
So-
an insurance thing? Is this a sponsorship?
So
What is
I got to
this?
say a big shout out to Mike Calzone of Foy Insurance.
Okay.
And for two reasons. Number one, he's been a friend of mine for years. And I finally went ahead and said, Mike, go ahead and price out my auto and home insurance. And what can you do? And he beat my insurance, honest to goodness, by $600-700. I don't even know. He cut Jess's insurance in half.
Who is this guy?
Mike Calzone of Foy Insurance. I'll say it again. Foy,
All right.
F-O-Y. That's all the hype you're getting there, Mike. Sorry. But seriously, give him a call if you live in New England. Go save your money. He's amazing. But I said, Mike, can we do $1 million hole-in-one contest? He's my insurance guy. When I was with the Pro Tour, I called him and I was like, Mike, insure this trailer. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And he's like, you shouldn't drive it. Because he looked at my record. So anyway, and Mike, I never did. But anyway, what were we talking about?
Insurance,
Oh,
$1 million
insurance.
hole.
So Mike said, I know how to make this happen. He insured it. It's about $5,000 a day. Yeah. So for the 32 shots, $5,000
Per day at the event.
Yeah. Well, it's Thursday. It's just that day.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, 5,000 is also like, that's a pretty solid payout currently in disc golf. So like, that also sounds so little when we're talking about $1 million.
Exactly.
So that sounds like a great deal.
We could have done a CTP with a $5,000 payout. But
Yeah,
I
this-
said no.
I think this is cooler.
Yeah. And now Matt was going to a point that's super duper fun. What happens when Paige or Kona or Evelina smash it into the chains?
Okay, so there's
Okay, well-
there's the immediate reaction.
I have a quick
Go ahead.
question too.
Yeah.
So there's
There's so
32
many.
total shots.
Yeah.
What if Paige steps up on the first shot, nails it,
Split
just
the million.
contest over?
She gets the million. She gets the million. No other million can be won. That's written
Evan.
into the
Okay.
contract. It's the
Okay.
first ace.
And
Okay,
Evan,
so what
y-
chooses the order now? Because but and then this comes up with the case like, do you want to be first or do you want to get like win reads? Is it going to be the same order?
I
Is it going
have
to be a
no
snake?
idea.
I got a
That's
lot of questions.
great,
okay,
great
first of
question.
all,
Got 5 months to figure this out.
I work-
Okay.
I work in the safety world, and a lot of times we build what we do around risk and hazard and what the likelihood is, and is this a very regularly occurring event, or is it not frequent at all, but a very high, we'll call it catastrophic event? In this case, it's similar. Like, what are the chances, right? Have
Right.
you ran any numbers on this? That what are the chances? Is there a way to do that?
Well,
You're a
based-
stats guy.
Based on the $5,000, I'm guessing it's a 1 in 200.
1 in 200. Throw it in.
Based on the $5,000 insurance.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, that's fair. But then
That's not hard.
but insurance always has to make money, so it's probably more like a 1 in 250.
1 in 203.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
I want to go back
How
for a
did
second.
how do they do that? Did they look at disc golf stats? How do they know disc
So
golf?
I genuinely believe
You're working the system. You're like,
that
that's worth 200
next
bucks.
year, this policy is going to be much more expensive.
Okay, interesting.
I believe they don't understand how good these players are.
Okay.
And I just want to say, I mentioned the 4 best women in the world, but I didn't mention the woman who crushed it at LVC and had like 100 eagles or something. I don't even know, but
Yes.
Ella Hansen.
Oh, of
So the
course,
point
yeah.
is, like,
she was
yeah.
ripping.
she would be in there.
So
in
my
all
question
likelihood.
is, yes.
Yeah.
So the AccuDistance through UDisc is going to probably look at the further throwing players, is what we're saying.
Correct. That's
okay.
the whole goal of it. Yep.
Okay. So in the end, yes, the people who are here are going to have the best chance at it. That's a great way to work that out.
Tell Ella Hansen or Paige Pierce or any of these women, I'll give you 100 shots at that basket 450 feet away. Try to get it in. And what are the odds of them getting it in 100 shots? 50-50?
Oh man.
That's what the insurance company's saying.
And then just for the fun of it, Steve, you're probably like, yeah, go do it. What if I want to go out now and get $1 million insurance on an ace?
Well-
I'll be like, now this is sponsored by the Nick and Matt Show. Go for it.
Go
Like,
for it.
To bring it back a second, a certain high profile disc golfer that we know couldn't even get an ace on a 220-foot hole at Maple Hill.
oh yeah, Simon.
I'm just
Oh.
kidding. That was a little bit mean. I actually feel a little bit bad. But that gives me an idea, as I would love to see him go out before the event and see
Well,
how often he could
yeah.
do it after the whole thing's
Right.
claimed. So that way when he gets
I
on
would-
the third shot, it's okay.
I would be a very bad host if I didn't push Steve at all. He's not going to answer. But Steve, this is only one evening of the MVP. This is only one of the evenings, and I know that men also throw.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now, Matt.
Just saying, I'm speculating now on my own show.
All I am saying right now, Thursday night, we're having a $1 million ace contest for the women. It's
That is
going to
incredible.
be awesome.
That is incredible. I feel like we can go to that point now because someone hits it. I'm going down that road. The immediate response, will it possibly, am I way out of left field here and saying that like the shot James Conrad throwing in, would we see reactions similar from a gallery, like absolutely losing
would
their
be-
mind?
Yes, they
I think it would be double or triple that.
and
Maybe even
It
more.
would be like absolute bedlam. Like
And-
I'm saying, like
Okay.
right.
climbing up
So-
Christmas trees and just like, like just crazy.
I might need to insure some
Yeah.
trees.
From a pure, like just what we can see monetary value, James Conrad only got like $5,000 from that shot. Of course, he made a lot more in disc royalties. And
Yeah,
MVP
the
rights up and
ripple
everything
long
else.
term. Yes.
But even then,
immediate.
that's not $1 million, or maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think it is.
Wow.
But then this.
Well, for MVP, it might
This
be, but not
this
for
you're
James.
winning $1 million that moment.
Yes.
Like you just won $1 million.
Wow.
and that could sell royalties too. Let's say Ella
Oh, of
Hansen wins
course.
it.
A
Discmania
$1
can,
million
whatever dish
shot.
she throws it in, can just drop that, make $1 million off that too.
Right.
Okay, the disc
It's a $2 million shot.
Yeah, it
the
is.
disc hits the chains and falls out. I mean, then you have another reaction of
Ooh.
bedlam, like craziness. And then what happens when someone does hit it? I'm talking about the immediate reactions right now. Paul Macbeth just leans back and he goes, "It's nice, isn't it?" Like he's
So-
like,
You've got yeah, exactly. So you've got 350 people in bleachers behind the tee.
"Yeah, it could be more."
That's
Not in the
that's
bleachers.
just in the bleachers.
Yeah, okay.
You've got people lining the fairway. You've got people behind the pin, down, basically an entire circle around this pin, 450 feet away. And they're all going to be jumping up and down. The person that threw it is going to sprint down that hill. Be very careful. It's a rough run.
So
Run across the water.
it's a long time tradition at Maple Hill to after you
they'll
win
be
the
in it.
MVP Open, you jump in the pond.
Right. Or if you make $1 million shot.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
are allowed to.
100%.
Good,
Yeah.
because that would
Actually, I would want everybody in the pond.
oh
I'll just call it. I want if you're there and someone hits that, I want everybody to run into that pond.
oh man, we need to call up American flag shorts guy. 'Cause-
I don't know if they'd be controllable in all seriousness. Like we saw the shot after James and it was crazy. I can't imagine $1 million. Like, so that's the immediate.
So and imagine being at James Conrad's shot.
Right.
Imagine
I have.
being there.
I have.
It like I jumped off the couch. and
Yes.
Jess was asleep at the time, and she's like, "What just happened?" And I'm just yelling my head off. And being there would be a life moment.
I agree.
And this is that same thing
so now
potentially.
I bring this up. If you can't make it to Maple Hill, let's say you live in California, a little bit too much of a trip to get out to Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any kind of plan on how to watch this?
So we don't have any plan to watch it live yet. I haven't talked with anybody about that idea. Gatekeeper will be covering this event. I've talked with Derek at length. One goal is to have a drone above the pin so we can watch all of, because whether somebody hits it or not, it's going to be an exciting contest.
yeah.
The
Mhm.
person, well, it's funny. The person that gets the CTP will win $500. So
Oh, okay.
sorry, that's it. So there's going to be something anyway.
Yeah.
But and that's an increase. Normally it's $100. So that's just we're bumping it up.
Love
And so they'll have lots of cameras, and it'll be ready for post production within a day or two. So try not to know if somebody hit it.
Okay. Yeah. No spoilers. I was gonna say, if Disc Golf Network doesn't cover it, we could figure out how to get Nick and Matt's studio sitting up there doing a live broadcast. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, a lot of like Instagram live, or I don't even know, TikTok, if they do live, some things are going to be up.
Our
there, I'm
equipment would
sure.
get destroyed when someone hits it. It's
Yeah.
just throwing things. It's just
Your
big
equipment just
fires.
goes right in the
It's just-
pond.
yeah, it's just, and we love it. We're just like, we love it. Throw more in the pond. Like, just craziness. So that's immediacy. Then people are going to be just breathing heavy for the rest of the night. Like,
Right.
what happened?
Right.
Going from that point, I mean, James Conrad's shot made it big and around the world. You'd have to believe that shot would as well. I mean,
For sure.
you're gonna have cameras on it. ESPN would pick it up. Lots of news would pick it up. Would we see more events start having $1 million ace holes?
I bet we would, and they would be paying a lot more money than I'm paying. Because, someone's going to figure out how good these players are.
All right. Well, you better start saving your money now, so when they raise the price, it's not a big
I'm
difference.
ready. I want to do this every year, and actually, I have plans for how we're going to expand it.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So that is an exclusive on the Nick and Matt show. Steve, we thank you so much for bringing that here. That is awesome. Really.
Where else would I bring it? I mean, there's
I
no
don't
other
know.
podcast in Leicester.
I was gonna say it's just conveniency. I heard Simon once say, I forget who it was. He was on Smashbox, right? And we love Smashbox. And they're like, you don't forget, Simon, like we're the OGs. And they're like, those Nick and Matt guys, they're trying to get you. And Simon, I don't know if he knows, but it was funny. I was watching the show and he goes, yeah, it's just more convenient. They're nearby. And I was like, I love you too, Simon. It is convenient.
Just so you know, I will be on Smashbox tomorrow night. Shout out to Terry and Johnny.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to be interviewed by Ultiworld's
Charlie
Eisenhood.
Eisenhood. I always think of
Eisenhood.
Eisenhower, but it's Eisenhood.
No, it's Eisenhood.
It's
Eisenhower. I'm going to call him that. But I'll be on that their interview series on Wednesday.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's spectacular. Just even thinking about what that would be like is just worth the million. No, it's worth the 5,000 right there. The opportunity.
And we will be discussing the women's $1 million. But I'm going to.
It's already broken.
Broke the news.
It's already
here.
broken.
Yeah.
Can't put it back in.
Right.
Never mind. All right. I was thinking that I've had 4 kids with my wife. I'm like, once the water breaks, it's not going back in. That's what I was thinking. Sorry. I'm a dad. What can I say? All right. So you talked about a lot of these questions that I had. Let's just see here. You mentioned parking. Do you mind elaborating on that just a little bit? Are we talking like paved parking surfaces or like trees taken down, more space, or just better gravel and land to park on?
So last year we did a lot of clearing up on hole 7 to the left of hole 17 gold. And that lot was the top part of it was able to be used, but the rest of it was too steep. And so one of the plans is to make a path that goes down the hill and people kind of angle park in onto that path, and then they can pull out and go down, and we're going to have a loop all the way around. So it's going to be the parking around that area is going to be a loop, a one-way loop. And then there's another field to the, well, if you're looking down into the parking lot, it's to the right of that. There's a lot of land there, and we're just going to clear that out year by year. We're budgeting about $10,000 to improve the parking. And in 2022, all of the players and media will be parking across the street, and all of the spectators will be parking on the golf course side of the street. So that's going to simplify things quite a bit.
Okay, so that helps transition this topic then to a little bit separate. Well, no, it's not separate from the event at all. It's not necessarily the activities of the event, but how we get into the event. So parking is part of that. VIP tickets are for parking.
There are VIP parking tickets, yes.
VIP parking tickets. Do you want to say where those people get to park?
Those people park in the upper lot, right in between holes 1 and 18. It's the primo spot. If you come to play Maple Hill during the year, 9 times out of 10, that's where you're parking. And then if you come during the MVP Open, the only way to get that is to pay $300, get a VIP ticket all 4 days. Actually, it's a gold level ticket all 4 days and VIP parking all 4 days.
Steve,
Yes.
did you just say $300?
I said
for going to watch disc golf?
Yes,
and
I did.
parking in the normal parking
yes,
lot?
I did. And I will go ahead and tell you, most of those are already sold.
Wow. Wow. I'm real.
And they've been on sale for 10 hours, something like that.
Evan, did you get a gold level VIP ticket?
I did not. I gotta learn more about this and snatch it up if it's not too late. But I will say, like, being there last year, that was the first time I was there. Like, it is packed. There are so many people trying to park. They're like, it's not like, I mean, obviously we know disc golf has grown in the last couple of years. It's not just, just drive on up and get a spot. Like, there's a ton of people there. It feels like if you're going to like Fenway Park or something, limited parking, when they have their, VIP parking things, they're parking all the cars in with like a valet and they're stuffing that in. There's not a lot of room. And if you want to make it, you still got to pay for parking and walk a little bit. When I go to Red Sox games, I have to take the train in or park 15-minute walk away to still pay $30, $40. It's just getting to that level. It's not like it's
So
some crazy thing.
I would,
but
oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
no, that was really it. Just like, it's not surprising because it is so popular.
I would encourage everybody, get your tickets, please come down, carpool, or have somebody drop you off. I would love it if nobody parked. That would, the reason we charge $20 to park on site. The VIP parking, I don't even know how much it is.
Well, you said you could only get that if you
could
did
only get it
the
if you're
gold.
doing
So it's not really broken down.
Yeah, it's
anyways.
not broken down. But so parking in all of the lower lots is $20 a day, which it feels like Fenway prices, although they're probably more than that. But we're so limited in parking, and that's one of the reasons we're investing. We've invested the last 3 years, probably the last 10, in growing the parking, and every year we'll keep making the parking better and better. And every year, because there's so many cars, somebody gets parked in a spot that's not ideal. I loved Jason down in the lower lot was actually challenging guys in their 4x4 trucks. He's like, "You think you could park it up on that hill?" And then
I was one of those.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I said, let's go.
making spot for a Honda.
Yes. There's so many ways this could go. I'm going to give you a couple opportunities here. One is just to tell us the pricing breakdown, because people hear 300 and they're like, I'll just watch from home, which is a great option as well. Disc Golf Network's killing it.
Yeah.
But we want to hear all the prices. If you don't mind, you don't have to give us every price, but generally speaking, someone could come out on a Friday or a Saturday or Sunday. What could they pay to just simply watch disc golf?
General admission on Thursday and Friday is $20.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and let you guys in on a little secret.
Right.
Part of the reason that we're doing the $1 million shot on Thursday is because Thursday is the day that the least people want to come. If you want to come on Friday when somebody's had a hot round, or on Saturday, the moving day, or on Sunday, the finals. So we're going to have our $1 million shot on Thursday on purpose so that people come, say, in addition to following one of these feature cards, I'm going to also get to watch this $1 million shot. So $20 gets you a day of coverage at Maple Hill, 8 to 8, including the $1 million shot. That's general admission. I think there's silver level, which is maybe 30 or 35, and then gold, which is 40 or 45. I don't actually know all of the numbers off the top of my head.
I would be impressed, though. I would be really impressed.
Thursday and Friday is $20 general admission. Saturday is, I believe, $25 general admission, and then Sunday is $35 general admission. And it's being on site at Maple Hill on finals Sunday. The atmosphere is electric. I remember when, and it's funny because I remember when Ron Russell made a shot in 2004. He went OB. He was tied with Brinster, or one ahead of him. He went OB on the first shot, and then he's like 200 feet down on hole 18. And he throws this comet up, and it just like stalls out right above the green, and then just goes, lands 2 feet from the basket. And we're all going crazy. There's like 18 of us, or however many. There might have been 30. I don't know. But either which way, there's less than 100 people there, and we're all going crazy. And I'm saying to myself, disc golf can be a sport people love to watch. And I knew it could. I didn't know it would take this long to get here, but I knew we could do this. And it's being at Maple Hill on the final day is so electric, and it's such an experience. And once you're there, you're there every year because you've been able to feel all of those both positive and negative emotions. And and then you get down and watch the pond jump, and you see people come out of that pond, and they're excited to do it. And yeah, it's just a beautiful day. So anyway, the prices were 20, 20, 25, and 35. And then there's a silver level, which allows you to get on to hole 8. I think
8 holes.
8 holes. I think that's $10 extra. And then there's a gold level, which lets you basically go anywhere except the hole 18 tailgater spot, which is just, it's like, that would be like walking into someone else's house. So you can't do that. But you get to go everywhere else. So
I want to be fully transparent here. I've been a big supporter of you since and I feel very similarly. It could be false presented, but I feel like a big supporter that Steve is of us and what we do. I can remember walking in back over Marshall Street when you were editing on an iMac down there, or you had, disc golf coverage that you used to do with a handy cam. And you're like,
I never filmed. Well,
you put it together and you did commentary.
I never filmed successfully.
Okay. You did the commentary. WW SmackDown,
yes.
Birdie, right? All that good stuff. So, and I feel like you demonstrated to me, you knew I was into media. You knew I liked it. Matt, here is a DVD. Tell me what you think about it. Like Steve, and I'm saying this with Steve present, so it could be, kissing his butt, but
it feels good.
for those that are listening and not watching, we're separated by tables. But I will say, Steve is someone who gets feedback and tries to figure out how to handle it. And if he really believes something that needs to happen is important, this is similar to me in a lot of things. Like I just get hard-headed. He's going to do it until it doesn't work. And he's going to try it again a different way and a different way. And the reality is here, people that are saying like, it's not worth it, or there are people that are responding that way. I've been there and I'm not rich, but I feel like it's well worth it. I already purchased that VIP. I feel like the experience, you have to be there to understand it. If you think it's like any other disc golf tournament out there, you're wrong. It's standalone. I've been to a few. I've been to a handful of them on the Pro Tour. It is totally different. Evan said this was his first. He's been to a few others. It's totally different. If you can watch the event for $20, it's worth it. If you want the extra experience, by the way, you brought up the VIP tailgating. I don't know where else that happens, but doing it at Maple Hill was above and beyond. Last year, I was just blown away by the experience. It was just really fantastic right there on the fairway, or not the fairway. You weren't on the fairway.
Just off the fairway.
We're on the fairway.
I love the fact that people brought their grills.
Oh, yeah.
They brought TVs.
Yep.
They knew they had power. They had TVs, tables. And they had those nice metal gazebos. That was a really fun thing to see. Hannah Macbeth actually called it the train station, which I thought was a really nice name.
There you go. You've talked about in the past, because we're just on this train of talking about the tournament, you've talked about in the past when you've tried it. And this is kind of where I was going with this. You've tried a lot of things over the previous 10 years. One of them being,
20.
and maybe we're still doing it, but just touch on real quick, shuttling. There's the Worcester Regional Airport. Mm-hmm. That's really not a busy airport, and there's a lot of parking usually available.
Right.
You've tried that. Are you still going to try that, or is that just something that just didn't work?
So, I think it was 2 years, maybe it was 3 years ago now. We said, okay, overflow parking going to the airport. And my favorite moment of the year, besides being with my family and being with other people that
yes.
I love and but my favorite moment of the year is parking people on Sunday afternoon. I don't really understand. All of a sudden my knees don't hurt. All of a sudden I can run forever, and I'm waving people on. Come on, I've got a spot for you. And thank God we had such a good crew, because I was able to just do a lot of pointing this year. But fitting cars in where other people are afraid to put them. And my mom will say, okay, this lot's full. And I'll say, okay, we're going to do this. And we get 8 more cars in there. And then, okay, that lot's full. We get 12 more cars in there. That's like the most exciting moment of my year. And it's kind of funny that I really love parking cars. I just want to, it's a little puzzle. I can fit your little car right in there. but where I was going was we did that 3 years ago, and there was literally one more car that we couldn't fit in. And I said, okay, you're the first person, you're going over to the shuttle. Nobody else came after that. I could have just parked him at the end of my driveway.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And so we had a shuttle driver, Cody Berman, my
Yes,
nephew,
I remember.
or my cousin.
Yes.
He shuttled the guy back, and then he just had to wait until that guy was done watching, and then shuttled him back.
It's the VIP experience. That was excellent.
He didn't have to pay parking because he was shuttled. It was so bad. It was this
Remind me to show up at the last minute on Sunday.
It was so anyway. Last year, that was 3 years ago. Then 2 years ago, I said, I don't care, hell or high water. I don't care who's here. I'm getting them on this farm. And we put everybody on the farm. And my mom said, you can't do that again, because my mom's in charge of parking. And so last year, what we did was we took all of the staff and we put all the staff over in the parking lot at the airport and shuttled them back. We had control over them. They all came at the same time. In general, they all left at the same time. We actually had a staff member whose job it was to shuttle. So this year we'll have 2 staff members whose job it is to shuttle, so they don't have to wait up 15, 20 minutes. And that's another thing we should talk about is staff. We have the best staff in the world. Yes, thank you, Ben. But anyway, we will be using the auxiliary parking lot, but we'll be doing it for staff.
Okay. I am somebody who's a big supporter, so you're going to hear a biased message, but I believe it's coming from a well thought out standpoint. I mean, I live here, but I would say to those who are still skeptical, if there are, we see them. It's sticker shock to some people because disc golf hasn't been here before. And I get that, but I would just say test it. I'm not saying Steve says money back guarantee. I'm considering, okay, here's a question you don't have to answer right now, but you said you're almost sold out. You're almost sold out of those VIP
Sounds like
passes.
something I told Jess a while back. Here's a question.
You don't have to answer yet.
Don't answer right now.
Will you marry me? Don't answer. No, I'm just kidding. So do you have those VIP, like the $300 gold VIP passes left?
Are there any left?
Yeah, you think so?
When I was on we had 50 of them total. When I was on my way here, there were 19 left.
Okay, the Nick and Matt show's going to buy one, and we're going to do a giveaway.
I love it.
Okay. So
unprompted. This is totally.
This is yeah. No,
they're not already sold out.
That's why I'm asking.
That's true.
If they're sold out, we've got one more, and we'll shuttle you from the airport. No.
Matt will shuttle you. I will not.
Yeah, that's right. You can come with me. The real VIP experience. No, I'm kidding. That would be not a good experience. But okay, so I will do that after the show. Hopefully it's not, because now everyone's running over there. We'll figure it out. And we'll do a giveaway where we'll let you have that experience. And then you might say, well, that was worth it because I didn't have to pay for it. But if you really believe like it's worth it, like let people know the experience. I'm going back year after year, spending the money to do it because I feel like it's worth it. Test it out. It's different than any other event. Again, I've heard people come and they go, wow, all the vending is right here. It's not like at a separate location at even the venue. Like it's everything. Food, vending, the whole thing, pro shop there, hole 18 where it finishes out. I mean, the nostalgia of it all. It's excellent. So go ahead.
You mentioned the vending. We're basically doubling the number of vendors. I think we're going to have 14 vendors this year.
Wow.
I'm doing this because that's the way they're going to line up. And then New England Women's Disc Golf is going to be hosting an escape room. We're going to have a disc-themed escape room. There's going to be, I don't know exactly how many, 4 to 7 puzzles. And when you solve one of the puzzles, a little part of the wall gets knocked out. And then at the end, when your time is up, it's maybe just 2 to 3 minutes, very quick. Go in there with your friends and solve all the puzzles. At the end, you're going to have a mini, and you have to try to throw it through the wall to win. So we have an escape room this year. From what I understand, the Pro Tour is going to have games that families and kids can play. We've talked about having a putting contest, a speed putting contest, where the winner will win who knows what, maybe a Maple Hill membership, maybe a t-shirt. And then all the vendors. We've obviously got all the food. We've got all the beer, and then we've got all of the course. Bleachers on hole 8, expanded bleachers on 8, expanded bleachers on 14, expanded bleachers on hole 1 with a stage, improved parking, and the best disc golfers in the world.
Yeah, so we could go on and on and on. In fact, would you be open to anybody that wants to phone call in and ask you a question live?
Of course.
Okay,
of
so
course.
Ben, pull up that. We don't need an intro for that. We're just going to put up the phone number. So let me see. I want to make sure I can answer this phone call real quick. Where did I put it? Maybe it's right here. Okay, yeah, call in. You want to mute that for us, Ben, so that way we don't hear the ring. All right, call in if you have a question for Steve about you think he's crazy. That's what we want. We don't want you to be offensive, but we want you to think he's crazy. That's fair.
It is. There have been many people who would agree.
All right, so we open up the phone lines. We'll see if anybody wants to do that. We got Mike Schwartz in the chat, by the way.
I love Mike Schwartz. He's our volunteer coordinator.
He's answering the questions I'm asking you. Yes, all the staff will be shuttled. All right, we got a phone call coming in. Let me answer this. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You're live. What do you have?
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering with the deal with MVP, maybe it's been said, are you guys looking to do more expansions to the course than what's already there?
Great question. Regarding the course itself, I'm assuming you're talking about the play, not about bleachers and things like that. The only change to the course this year is going to be 12 diamond. We looked at 12, and it was a very difficult hole for the women. And so we're shortening up that tee, and it's actually going to be a new 12 white tee as well. So 12 diamond is the only change to the course. Great question.
Yeah. Thanks for your call.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your call. All right, that's what we're looking for. You might have missed this has been a decently long interview, so some people might have missed some of the questions. But feel free to call in. We'll see what we can touch on beyond that. Steve, there is a ticket left.
So while we're waiting for that, unless it's here.
Nope, we don't have another one yet.
I wanted to touch on the staff because there is a little bit of controversy about asking volunteers to pay $99 to volunteer.
I wasn't going to bring it up because I thought we talked a lot, but go for it.
Well, I just want to say I love our staff. Our staff is fantastic. We've got Mike Schwartz can verify this, but I think we've got 80 or 90 people already signed up to be on staff, and we haven't made it public yet. This is we've asked the people who were staff last year if they would like to come back and staff again. And we're getting about a 75 to 80% return rate, which is fantastic. Now, having said that, we want more staff than we had last year. Having said that, I believe we will get more staff than we had last year, and I believe we will not be able to use everybody that wants to be on staff. I believe at the end of this tournament, there will be a wait list to be on staff. And that wait, just like the Masters, if you wanted staff at the Masters, you pay your $350 and you get, just like at the MVP, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, you get a shirt each day, you get a signed disc, you get a staff pack worth well over the amount of money you're putting in. But to do it, you have to get on a wait list that's about 7 years long. And I'm being serious. And you are able to staff until you don't, and then you lose your spot and you go back to the end of the line and someone fills it in. And after this year, that is where the MVP Open will be. We will have a staff that is set, and when somebody drops off, we fill them in with a new person on the wait list. We were very close to doing it last year, and in the last minute, Mike Schwartz said, "Steve, let everybody in off the wait list that wants to staff." I'm glad he said that. He's an asset to the event. Anyway, if you want to staff the event, you go to mvpopen.com, just click the staff application button, and you can be on staff for $99. And then you get, Ben, is it worth it?
100% worth it. I had a great time. I even got to caddy final round for Matty O while being a staff. So
no guarantees.
That's not a guarantee, but it was worth it. The player pack was indeed worth it. Just a James Conrad MV alone is going for like $70 on eBay. So like 100% worth it. It's a good time. Steve's awesome. So
all right. Come on. So I just secured another, I say another because I did my own, but another gold pass, which includes VIP parking for every day, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Did you say Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
4 days?
4 days.
Where did I miss that announcement?
Yeah, where did you miss that?
Did you say that earlier and I just totally glossed over it in my head?
I've been talking Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday,
All
Sunday.
right.
So I never specifically said there were 4 days, but there are.
The playoffs, baby. 4 days.
4 days.
So we're going to find out how to give that away. We're going to grow it because I don't want it to just be, well, it could be just our faithful.
You know
Monday Night
what? You know
Following.
what Paul Macbeth told me after last year's event?
What did he tell you?
He said, we need 4 days here. That's the one thing he said. And that was I was just like, we're going to make one change. One change.
Wow. 4 days. Call in. Do you like that? What else do you think could happen that would make MVP even better? So we'll give those tickets away. I want to do this real quick. Steve didn't agree to do a sponsorship deal for this company. So the Nick and Matt show is, he doesn't have to say anything unless he wants to. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, on screen, and those of you listening, is DG Max Wax. DG Max Wax is a product that enhances your grip. What did I do with the, do you have the chapstick one? No, I have it. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm blaming it on everyone else. This little container of what looks like chapstick has in it the same product that I was just holding in the shape of a mini. And this is actually a legal mini. You can use this mini as a disc golf mini and enhance your grip every time you pick it up. And this is the chapstick version of it. It's not actually for your, I don't know, maybe you could do it on your lips. Smells good. I'm not going to actually do it. Evan, you're sitting on the other side of me. We've talked to Nick about this a few times. I gave you the product tonight and I said, here's a disc. Try it without. Here's the DG Max Wax Mini. You said, how do you use it? I saw you start to rub it on the disc. I said, no, don't rub it on the disc. Rub it on your fingers. And so you did. And then what was your reaction when you grabbed the disc? What you said something about, I like this, but why?
I did like it. You definitely notice it being grip, and like I was picturing sticky, and it's not sticky. It's just purely grippy. It also smells very good, like you were saying. I was very impressed with the smell, but it definitely is very grippy. I'm already sold on it. I've been away for a couple weeks. I haven't. I don't know if I've been on this ad yet, but I'm excited for it and would want to try it out.
And you keep saying not sticky, grippy, and I think some people hear grippy as I'm not going to be able to let go. But that's what you're saying. It's not.
Exactly. Like I was thinking, like, I mean, Nick was talking about his spider tack video where he was holding up the disc by his, fingertips. It's nothing like that. It's not like you're going to be holding onto the disc and not let go. It's you just notice it being grippier, which again, I need to find a better word to say grippy, but not sticky without saying grippy, but not sticky.
So here's what I want to say, and I just tossed it over to Steve. He can react or not react if he wants to. You get it on your fingers and then you grab the disc. So there's a lot of reasons pro disc golfers throw farther than us. We've kind of talked about a few. Matt, they throw better than you because they are better than you. Okay, that's fine. But they also throw with better speed of spin. Okay.
There's another reason they throw farther than I know me.
Okay.
And that's luck. They are just really lucky.
All the time. Almost all the time.
Every time.
So technique, arm speed, luck, flexibility, body structure, athleticism are some of the most commonly understood and discussed. They've hired Seth Muncie. They've hired their own, athletic trainers to help them with this process. But there's another reason, and it's spin. Pros put a lot more spin than we do. I feel that. Steve, if we go back years ago, I remember having a conversation. You said, wouldn't it be great to throw let's say dye the disc half black and half color, and let's slow it down and let's see the revolutions.
Yeah.
If you throw it with this much, spin, you'll get it to do this. If you throw it, and you could figure it out. This product here, and this is to Evan's point, my point, it enhances your grip. It doesn't remove we'll say the birdie bags or the whale sacks. It doesn't remove that. You're going to dry your hands, get your hands dry. Then you're going to use this product and enhance the grip. So you may have seen Nick, Carl, Paul Macbeth talking about all these different products. It was not DG Max Wax, but it was the idea of enhancing your grip. This is that. If you go to dgmaxwax.com, use the code Nick and Matt, you get 10% off your order. You'll support a growing disc golf company.
Matt, I'm going to go ahead and just say I am blown away. I had no idea what this was going to do.
Okay.
I am blown away. I put it on my right hand, which had a little ice cream stickiness on it. So I apologize if that messes up this little disc. And then you hold the disc, and it's a little insanity.
Wow.
And then the left hand, which doesn't have the ice cream or Max Wax on it, is as slippery as all get out.
It's like lotioned up his hand before he grabbed it. Steve, just check this out real quick too. This is the chapstick version, meaning you can just use that in your pocket and you just rub it on your throwing hand fingers. Yeah, you grip. Bring it home tonight. Honey, my lips are really grippy.
Jess lotions my head every night. I don't need this.
So that's a great little product there. I actually think that's one of the more innovative. I feel like the idea of putting in a chapstick I keep in my pocket.
I don't understand this. You just run your thumb over that?
Your thumb or the fingertips on your throwing hand, and it's the same product inside of the chapstick.
Oh, okay.
I just like the fact that it's super convenient. So that's, anyways, you're hearing us over talk about it because
these people
I actually
should
believe
pay
in it.
you the way you're talking about this product.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. We'll figure it out one day.
Max Wax. So what I would say is the Max Wax people, do they sell this wholesale?
That's a good question. I don't have that information that they do, but I guarantee you they would discuss that option.
I have them reach out to me at Maple Hill, and we'll look at carrying this because we carry other products that do similar things and do a good job of it.
I'm sure they would.
And these guys do as good or better a job, and it's a really cool little package. So,
And they're going to, so I do know a little bit more that they're working on. They're going to have a case for that mini. For those that don't want to have it just stored as a mini, you could have a little plastic case that it goes in.
This is a good workaround, though.
I think that's fantastic. So yeah, I'll provide you that information. Go check it out again, dgmaxwax.com, and get you some. I've seen people saying they have. So Steve, we're getting to the end here of this conversation around MVP. It's going to be that way for the next 10 years, MVP. Can you just tell us, you're a visionary. I know you kind of well over the years. I've seen a lot of things. You've obviously were the founder of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and it's meaning visionary, futurist. How do we do this? You kick it off, you get it going, and maybe you carry it on. Maybe you pass it off. We saw that with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but you start it. And I feel you're doing things way better than me. Don't hear this, but I feel a lot with me. I like to create and then kind of just say, who wants it, right? What's the MVP Open, the event? I know that's kind of constrained as far as like it's happening here. It's not like a franchise model, but like the event itself, if things go perfect in 10 years, is there an end goal for this? Or is it in the next 3, we're going to get to that end goal and just maintain it? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
I do see what you're saying. And it depends where disc golf goes. Right now, when you go to watch a disc golf tournament, you want to follow the lead card. That's 4 years ago. That's what you did because there were 30 of you, and then there were 80, and then there were 120, and then we had to start restricting it. So if we can get, as a sport, if we can get over the hump of I have to watch the lead card all the time or I'm going to be sad. If you can get beyond that, then the sky's the limit. I anticipate having 600, 700, 800 people on hole 8 watching that. It's going to be a stadium hole. It's going to be Maple Hill's version of a stadium hole. So that right there is 800 people. Hole 14, you could do the exact same thing. It's a beautiful water hole coming right at you. Hole 5, why not have floating bleachers? Imagine floating bleachers.
I have.
Right. We all have. Oh my gosh, it's obvious. So, but what would people pay to sit out there in their floating bleachers and watch hole 5 and then turn around and watch the shots on hole 8?
Not only VIP passes, you can get the canoe pass now, right? We'll just have buoys. You can't go past.
It'd be sponsored by canoes.
The San Francisco Giants, their stadium's right on the bay there. When Barry Bonds played there,
they would
it's
wait.
Lefty friendly. You hit home runs out into right field into the water.
Yep.
People would be kayaking to try to get the baseballs. That'd be really cool if you could.
Wow.
You would almost have to have like swim buoy lanes so people don't get over to hole 8 or get in the way.
Well,
but
I would anticipate actual seats out there where they can't canoe around, but who knows? It might be bring your kayak.
How cool would that be? Fishing, watching disc golf. Hey, we got someone calling in. We're going to actually take that. And then we have a couple closing thoughts. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. You had a question. What do you got? Oh, You
Oh,
there?
yeah, hey.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of saying how beneficial it might be for people to, on the fence, to get those extra VIP tickets and how it'd be worth it.
It's in my opinion, everybody's going to make their own decision. If you think it's too expensive, it's too expensive. I don't.
No, I was trying to say that it would be a good decision to do that.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you entirely. I believe you. Agree with you. Like, if anything, it's undervalued. But disc golf's not ready for where we're going yet. But I don't go to the aquarium every day because it's $60 and $40 to park.
That's right, Steve.
But I do go sometimes.
Yes.
And when I go, it's worth it. The MVP
Absolutely.
Open happens once a year. You get an opportunity to literally see the best players in the world. This year, we're a part of the first ever playoff event. The atmosphere, which has been electric, is going to be ramped up, as Spinal Tap says, to 11.
I 100% agree, as my name is David Hoey, and I couldn't agree more.
David Hoey, one of the many people who have got engaged at Maple Hill. Thank you, David.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I am a big supporter, and I just want people to know that if they choose to spend their money on this, it's well worth it.
Agreed. And if they choose not to, that's okay. Watch on DGN. It really is okay.
Yes. The coverage is amazing. I can't believe where we're at.
Yeah. But being on site is electric. David, you reminded me of we sent out an email to a bunch of people who were at the event, staff and spectators, and one of the replies I got back was somebody was on hole 5. They were watching, and they had a VIP pass last year, and they were watching on hole 5, and they said, I couldn't see the tee or the basket, but Calvin Heimberg threw his ace, and it was the most exciting shot I've ever been present to hear. Like, they didn't see any part of the shot, but that moment rang true because they're surrounded by 300 other people who are just all going crazy because Calvin just moved up a couple of strokes, and we just watched an ace on hole 5, and
he didn't even win $1 million.
He didn't even win $1 million, but he was like, that was the moment that he relayed to me as super duper special, just because you're surrounded by all those people. When you're at home and you watch a great shot, it's okay. You get to eat your popcorn. But when you're at the event, it's just, the atmosphere is electric.
It's electric, and it's within that 150-foot space at Maple Hill, and you have a bunch of them. You know, you don't know when it's going to strike, but it's gonna.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Thanks for calling, Dave. Really appreciate it. Good seeing you last Saturday.
Our best to Bridget.
Yeah, you too, Matt. I love you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I just want to close up that whole topic. We brought Steve in. In fact, he's like, hey, whatever you want. And I said, hey, let's come in. Let's make this. Let's do the whole show with Steve Dodge in studio. People, I would just say, hold your everyone's fine giving their opinions on this for sure. But I would say hold and give that little disclaimer at the end. But you know what? I've never been there before. And if that's the case, come out and then give your opinion on it, because it is different. You're just going to have to believe what we're saying. You don't have to spend the money. You got to believe us that it's worth it to a lot of people. In fact, I think you're just about sold out on those VIPs, which is incredible. And that's a great place. So let me just give these last 2 thoughts for the event. We wrap this up.
The Sunday gold tickets are sold out. Saturday gold tickets are almost sold out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the full event, the gold.
Oh yeah. The $300 tickets are almost gone.
All right. We got to buy another one.
Which is just the gold with VIP.
Is scalping a thing in the disc golf world? Because could I just buy the rest of them out and just scalp them? 500 a pop?
Is scalping a thing in the disc golf world? It maybe not in tickets, but we all talk about discs.
Oh, right. Disc.
Like,
that's
yeah,
right.
it's clearly in the disc golf world.
So I'm going to buy a few more of these up and tap my overdraft. No, kidding. And then we'll sell them 500 a pop. Make people real happy. All right. DGN coverage quality at Maple. Are there any talks? This is the short version. Are there any talks? I know there have been in previous years. Is there any movement there that you're aware of? I know that's not your thing. DGN is their thing.
So I know that DGN is talking with Verizon to up the service. I would love to get a cell tower out on 1113. What we're doing is we're going to increase the Wi-Fi signal at around the pro shop and encourage everybody around hole 18 to piggyback on that Wi-Fi signal and not use that broadband. That will improve it because all the people on the property are basically using the same cell tower, I think. So that will help alleviate a lot of the stress on the system.
Okay. And then this was my grandiose, you said floating, bleachers on 5. My thought always was a deck on top of hole 11. And I'm talking like an expansive deck where you actually get tables with umbrellas and servers out there with drinks and food, the like VIP, like, and elevate it so you can see all of 11, 12,
that is
13.
such a great idea.
Oh, man,
so
I've thought about that for years.
Let me tell you what I
How much money is that?
Here's
$2 million contract and gone.
Unbutton my jacket on this one.
Okay.
So here's what I think will happen. I think that in 2 years, I will convince Tom, assuming he doesn't watch this. If he watches this, it'll take 3.
It'll take 3.
But
let me add him. No.
But I believe in 2 years, we will have a deck T on hole 11 and hole 13. It'll be pretty damn big because you don't want to fall off of a deck. But I see it being 10, 12 feet tall, 60, 70 feet long so that it can establish a T for 11 and then going the other way, a T for 13. I had never considered expanding it sideways, make it a 70 by 70 deck. And then you've got tables and servers and
in all seriousness, because we were having this conversation last year, and the VIP tailgating I thought was what kind of, it's not what started my thought process, but I said, how can you take this further? And in my head, and how do I come off not sounding rich on this show? Because I'm not rich. I definitely the rest of the world, we are well off in the United States. I agree.
Sure.
But in my head, I'm like, what would that be worth to me? And I feel like all 4 days, MVP open on a deck up there in 11 where I can sit at a table and have food catered
with
to
an
me.
Umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking a ticket well over $1,000 per person. I really feel like that for 4 days.
I love the way you're thinking.
I just, and if you could fit 50 people up there, see, there you go. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking like it would be the true VIP.
I could see a runway right down the middle, the diagonal of a square, and then the triangles, you have people sitting and eating and getting drinks. I think 1,000 is a little ridiculous.
High?
Yeah, I think that's way too high.
Steve is like, okay, he's the man of the people.
Well, $300 for a disc golf event. That's crazy.
Okay, so throw a few other experiences in there. You get to hang out with a few of the players after an event.
Having said that it's crazy, it's going to sell out.
Yes, exactly.
Probably on the second day.
Exactly.
And we're 5 months from the event. So I guess it's not crazy.
It'll get there one day.
But it feels crazy.
Matt, they're asking, Matt, why did you bring this up? Shut up, Matt. That's too much. All right. It feels crazy. But
I love the idea of a big deck up there, though. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And as long as the wind doesn't come through, you got to build that really strong.
So you're sponsored by Max Wax, and they're great. I'm sponsored by Maple Hill. I got to do a little Maple Hill shout out.
Great.
So Maple Hill this year, we improved the Sap House Pro Shop dramatically. It's a finished building now. You come into a boutique disc golf shop. Actually, I don't know. How do you pronounce that word? Boutique or boutique?
Boutique is what I would probably say, but when you said it, I didn't think anything
Jess
of it.
always says I say it wrong, and I never know which way I'm supposed to say it. So boutique?
Boutique,
Yeah.
probably.
All right, this one's for you, Jess. Boutique
There we go.
disc golf shop. And then also we're starting an instructional league on Monday nights taught by Gage Benson. April through October, the first Monday is putting and the second Monday is approach and all that jazz. You can go to maplehilldiscgolf.com under events and see all this. But every Monday there's going to be an instructional league for up to 15 people. On Tuesdays we have our normal league. On Wednesdays we have the women's league, and women play free all day Wednesday. And then we have the Cosmic Disc Golf League, which is the first Friday morning of every month from April to October. So there's lots going on. This is the most organized Maple Hill has ever been as far as our calendar goes. And then obviously the MVP Open happening in September.
I got a little taste of the Pro Shop a month or two ago, and it was looking great. And I think I saw pictures since then. So it's definitely going to be an upgraded experience. Talking about upgrades.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, and if we get all of our ducks in a row, we will have new indoor bathrooms by the tournament.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's another upgrade.
Pretty darn big.
That is another upgrade. All right, we're gonna let you go. We didn't do stat or fiction.
Yeah, what?
Let's do the quick version as it is. I do want to get it in. Here's my stat for you as you pull it up. There's been, and this was on Disc Golf Pro Tour. 2021, there were almost 5.5 disc golf courses built per day. There you go. That is incredible. So these courses that are standing out ahead and have been here the longest are going to become an elite experience in a lot of ways. Ben, let's hit it. Stat or fiction? Let's hit it, Ben. Ben.
Stat or fiction, presented by Statmendo.
Oh, we got to change the name there. Steve is not Chantal and Juge, and hold on. All right, go ahead, Evan, give it to us.
All right, so Steve, you haven't watched the memorial yet, but I got a nice little memorial themed stat or fiction. Paul McBeth has finished in the top 5 at the memorial each of the last 12 years. That's including 2022, the one that just happened this past weekend, which you may or may not know what happened.
So that would be from 11 to 22?
Yes, if my math is right.
That's a stat.
Yes, 2011 to 2022, 12 straight years, Paul McBeth has finished top 5 at the memorial.
Is there a year he missed? That's the only thing I'm thinking of. No, that's got to be a stat. Memorial's his place.
Memorial is his place. That is a stat. He has finished 5th once. He finished 4th once. Finished 3rd once. And the rest have been 1st or 2nd.
That is crazy.
And
he is so lucky.
Yeah, lucky. This event is no longer on the Pro Tour. Same with last year. But for 10, 12 years before that, it was on the National Tour and then the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It's been an elite season for most of that stat. So it's not like, Paul McBeth playing some random A tier. It's still a very premier event, even if it's not on tour, and it was on tour for most. All right. Number 2, the 2022 Memorial was Kristen Tatar's first win in the United States west of the Mississippi River. Of her career in the United States west of the Mississippi River.
First win.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's me. I say, just based off of my quick thinking, was it not Des Moines? And you're talking like the elite, the Pro Tour, not Silver Series.
Any event.
Because
this was just an A tier.
Yeah, where was this other?
Just an A tier.
Where was she that she won? I don't remember where that river goes, so I'm going to say yes. That's what I'm going with. Does it make any left-hand turn?
I feel like she's won something west of that. I'm going to say fiction.
All right. This is fiction.
Oh, Steve got it.
And if
Good
you know
job.
something about one of her wins, was at the Preserve Championship last year.
Yeah.
It was when she really dominated the field. I think won by 11 or 12 or 13 strokes. That course is alongside the Mississippi River, just barely on the west side. Completely on the west. Every other win of hers in the United States was east of the Mississippi. So.
Wow. So that's an interesting stat. I don't know how you had to go find that.
So I got that right by about a foot.
The river's pretty wide, so maybe a half a mile.
Okay.
I don't know how wide it is. All right. And then bringing it back to Mr. McBeth. He won the 2020 Memorial with an event rating of 1,074.25. This is the highest event rating of McBeth's career from an event that's not a major elite or Silver Series. So like a big tour.
He won this year, you mean?
No, his career.
Wait, he won the
He won the Memorial this year.
He did. I haven't watched it.
Again.
God.
So wait, okay, so he won it this year with a round rating of 1074.
An average round rating of 1074.25. That is true. That's the lead-in stat.
Okay.
That was his exact average he had just this past weekend. The stat or fiction is this is his highest event rating of his career from an event that's not a major or elite or silver series.
Oh,
So excluding all the tours, including the
Okay.
silver series.
Has he ever averaged
so
higher
not-
at a
not-
non-pro tier?
So an
counting
A tier
big
or
events.
less.
Not
Yeah.
counting big events.
Yeah.
Has he ever averaged
Because the
higher?
Memorial's a
I'm
small
going to
event.
say no.
And I'm going to say yes. So
Wait, what's the stat? You
so
have to say.
This is the highest one. So
so
This
I'm
is his
saying
highest
I'm
event
saying
rating.
fiction. I'm saying fiction then, and you're saying
because Matt's saying that there's a higher one, so it's fiction.
Oh,
The
no,
stat-
there's not a higher one.
okay. So you're
It's a
saying
So you're saying
Stat.
stat. It
Yeah.
is the highest.
there we go. We got that figured out.
All right. This is fiction.
Yes, we tied
He
it
has
up.
one event higher, which is actually his highest event rating of his career.
Wow.
It's a 1087 at the 2019 Throw Down the Mountain in Florida.
Wow.
I remember that event. No, I didn't know that in my head.
Yes.
But I remember that event in hindsight.
I kind of forgot about it. His 2019 season's crazy. I think we always talk about his 2015
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
very incredible when he Grand Slam of majors, but 2019 was very, very good. He won this event by 14 strokes. It was just a 3-round event by 14 strokes over Michael Johansson and Chris Dickerson. And then Calvin Heimberg was in fourth, losing by 17 strokes in a 3-round event.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I just rolled the dice with he's played so many events and he's not one to really shy away from the lower tiered events. And you had to believe he put down some real fire. So
do we have a tiebreaker, stat or fiction? 'Cause
Usually.
I have a tiebreaker if we
of
want to
course
do it.
you do. No, Evan
But
usually
Evan
does.
gets. You go ahead and do it. I'll get the bonus round.
Yeah, you can give us one.
All right. Yeah, I didn't prepare one, so I just got one. Hopefully it's a good one. This is whoever's closest, so it's not a stat or fiction.
So was mine.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
No.
Well, you can share yours after, in a non-rude way. How many
Sit down and be quiet.
how many wins does Kristen Tatar have in the United States? Any tier?
Is this who goes first kind of a thing?
Yeah, you can't copy the other person, so
I got my answer down here. I'm showing Ben.
It's closest and it's not a go without going over rule, right? It's
yeah, just closest. If there's another tie, we'll do something else. I don't know.
5.
4.
Ooh,
Ooh.
no, it's the over under or exactly right.
Well, there is no tie here. Neither of you are right, but Matt is closer. This was her sixth
Sixth.
Memorial. She won U.S. Women's in 2019.
Oh, I didn't know she won Memorial.
Well, you still would have been wrong because it was
I
five.
I
she won-
counted Memorial in my head, but I was off. Yeah.
Yeah, she won 4 last year. Clash of the Canyons in Illinois. I wrote down Michigan. That's not true. Clash of Canyons is in Illinois. I'm pretty confident. CCR in Michigan, D-Glow in Michigan, and Preserve in Minnesota.
Well, I don't like beating the guest, but
Well
when it's
played,
Steve Dodge, I'm just kidding. What was your tiebreaker?
So my tiebreaker was going to be how many of us finished our pints of ice cream?
Ooh.
And I'm saying 2.
Yeah, because I'm over here hiding behind the computer. I did not.
I think it's 2. Well, by you answering it now, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure Steve's done. I finished, I think.
Am I the tiebreaker?
Did you get it, Ben?
Let me pull it up. Ready?
Take the last bite.
He can't
Did I
tip
get it?
He can't tip it.
Ah.
Oh, wait, he can tip it?
I think I see it.
Just a little. It's like a quarter left.
Yep,
Quarter
3
left.
quarters. And I got through an 1/8. So I was just running
Wait,
the
you
show
didn't-
over here.
You just barely ate it.
Yeah, I barely
All right,
ate.
I want to
yeah.
take that home.
I've wondered if you refreeze it, it's got to be pretty bad.
Wait,
but-
You don't.
I
wanna
will
refreeze
say
it.
I hate chocolate ice cream, and because you said that one was your favorite, I didn't want to take yours, and I liked it.
Nice.
It was weird. I hate chocolate
That's
ice
the
cream.
fish food.
Yes,
That's a very good ice cream.
it was
Yeah.
my first chocolate I've ever liked, and I'm astonished.
Yeah, I bought
all I'll
5 pints of ice cream. I honestly barely made it here. I was like, I'm just gonna go home.
I'm just going to go home. It wouldn't be the first time we were stood up, Steve.
Oh,
But-
well, thank you guys very much for having me. This has been so much fun, and I'm jealous that Simon gets to sit here much more often than me.
You're keeping the seat warm for him. He's been
Yeah.
busy as a dad, you know.
Yes.
and That's
Congrats.
yeah, that is great for him. All right. Nick usually closes out the show. I'm not going to put that burden on Steve, but I feel like he's the other guy who'd be like, tell someone you love them and give them a hug or something like that.
I want to close out the show with a story.
You can do that.
Someone was recently asking me about, like, Steve, when the Pro Tour started, how crazy were things? And so when the Pro Tour started, we're at the Tour Championship. The Tour Championship, right? And Terry Miller and I I don't know who the cameraman was. It was maybe Rick or Chad. And we're literally tethered in, and Terry's holding the mic in between he and I, and we've got our golf voices on, and we're being Valerie Jenkins from 45 feet. She needs this to pull into a tie. Okay? That's literally what I don't know exactly what I said, but I said, you can go back and watch this. It might be on DGN now. 2016, I don't know what round, but have fun watching those 16 hours of footage.
Yeah.
It was about hole 5 or 6 on Fox Run. And Valerie literally turns around and says, Steve, I can hear you.
No. I can hear you.
I'm just like, whoops. At which point she turns around about a 40-footer and drains it.
That's awesome.
Nice. I was so glad she hit that putt. But that's my fun fact of 2016 Pro Tour.
That could become the way of the future. They have to have the commentators talking right behind their shot. They need to make this putt.
This is a big putt.
They haven't been hitting these very often.
There's a little headwind. She probably is going to aim low.
Brought to you by just sponsor read right before. Okay. So that is excellent. Ben, you want to give the closeout?
I guess I can try.
You gotta reproduce Nick. Here we go.
All right, guys, this has been the Nick and Matt show. Thanks to Steve Dodge for coming out. We appreciate him. Tell someone you love him today, and then I'm gonna put it back to Matt.
All right, that's right. Ben, you're awesome. Steve, you're awesome. Evan, you're awesome. Let's go. Peace out.
The Nick and Matt Show, a disc golf podcast designed for you, the disc golfer. Find the Nick and Matt Show on your favorite podcast platforms or join the conversation live on YouTube.